afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Summit Point Raceway for the opening round of the U.S. Majors Tour here in the Northeast Division of the SCCA U.S. Majors Tour. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Brian Donati and David Lance, and we've got, of course, Spencer Gaynor over our shoulder here, giving you all the best views of today's action from beautiful 10-turn, 2-mile Summit Point Raceway. It's going to be about 5 minutes before our first race group of the day takes to the track. So, Brian, let's do this. Let's take a look at Summit Point Raceway. For those of you who have not seen this facility before, as we mentioned, beautiful, lots of flow, 10 turns, 2 miles. It really will stress every part of a car. There are areas here for high horsepower, Brian. There are sections here for extreme handling. And let's not forget what a load it puts on the brakes around here.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Greg. You've got to have your car set up, right? There is so many different variables in this racetrack. You talked about the flow, especially you come down into turn 1, you get in that high braking, and then we get down into turn 5. Your car's got to be set up, and you've got to have the brakes to get through there. It's about drive off in most of these turns that we have, especially turn 1 and turn 5. If you don't have the drive off there, you're going to struggle a little bit, and you've got to get that momentum back up. Some of these groups and some of these classes we have, it's about all about momentum. And if you're going to hold up on your momentum and not have that drive off, it's going to be very, very tough to put down a good productive lap.
All right, well, Brian, let's do this, because I know many people haven't met our new addition to the team here at Summit Point, and that is David Lance. David, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good, Greg. How about you?
Excellent. And so as we get ready, David, you, of course, saw all the qualifying that went on, and qualifying today, let's take a look here. All of our racers, they had 2 different qualifying sessions that we, of course, did not broadcast, that will set the grids for this afternoon's races, and we have 6 different races. What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of action, say, in some of these qualifying sessions. You know, we saw some pretty quick laps. We're near track record times on a lot of these groups, about a little bit of a second off, but still, track's been very quick this morning coming in as the day has gone along.
All right, so lots to look forward to. Somewhat warm in the air. I know Spencer had the weather here up on the corner of the screen when we started, and we have had for most of the day here clear skies, very few clouds. Just as we broke for lunch about midday, though, we did start to see some more clouds and more haze come in, and that might actually be advantageous for these racers, Brian, where the track surface maybe doesn't get so hot. We could see here where this asphalt could get very greasy and very slimy through the course of the day, but maybe not.
Well, you're going to have a lot of drivers that are going to say, whoa, now my car really doesn't handle as well as it did early this morning. Had a couple conversations with some of the drivers last night about today, early morning, in that 50, 60 range. It was nice, it was cool. The wind was blowing a little bit. That wind seems to be picking up a little bit. Tomorrow's really going to be a totally different racetrack than we're going to see today. But now that we're in the afternoon here, David, it's really, really going to be very important to make sure that your car has the handling that you needed beforehand when you get into this warm weather.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's going to be, I think we're going to see some great racing action today as kind of this track warms up throughout the afternoon. It's supposed to be a little more, get a little more humid, a little more hot. So I think it'll make for maybe a slick racetrack, see what we got.
And want to welcome all of our viewers here on YouTube, of course, and especially
already
Greg Ginsburg Worship. Thank you for coming and joining us here for all the action this weekend from Summit Point. All right, so we've got the pace car, Graham Taylor, one of the 2 Grahams here this weekend, out with that beautiful Pontiac G6 pace car, ready to go. Shirley Thompson, our splitter, now going to send our racers on track for the first of our 15-lap majors races here this weekend, this being our small bore production classes, as well as Super Touring Light, Touring 4, and B-Spec. Let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today, I believe your sole Super Touring Light racer from Mendon, Massachusetts, driving the Flat Out Motorsports Mazda Miata, it's Nick Leveroni. Your F Production pole sitter and multi-time national champion Craig Kima driving the 05 F production Lotus Super 7. He's out of Akron, Ohio. He'll start on the outside of the front row. Graham Fuller driving his F production Toyota TRD Goodyear Toyota Tercel, a former GT Light national champion, will start third alongside our Touring 4 pole sitter Owen Sheffer out of Warrenton, Virginia, in his RP Performance Mazda RX-8. Then we've got Matt Brannon. Matt is your H production pole sitter. He's out of Columbus, Ohio, in the Midwest Bayless Italian Fiat X19, and then scheduled to start sixth. We'll see if we'll have to check to see. No, he did not make it out. Had some mechanical issues earlier today. Mike Kelly, driver of the 86 European import Volkswagen Golf. Braden Connolly, another one of the Midwest Bayless Fiat X19s, scheduled to start seventh, with Eric Benazik starting in eighth. He is driving the number 1 H production All-Star Sheet Metal Honda Civic. Olivier Lucier driving his Touring 4 Porsche Boxster out of Winge, New Hampshire, representing the New England region, scheduled to start ninth. David Colby in his F production Honda CRX-SI, the like father, like son racing machine out of Utica, New York, will start 10th. Starting 11th, driving the number 5 Blue Crab Racing Toyota Yaris from Durwood, Maryland, Tom Broering. And then our B-Spec racers starting on pole in B-Spec today, driving the RP Performance Rat Mazda 2 from Strasburg, Virginia. It's Brian Price starting second in B-Spec. Lucky 13th overall, driving the number 11 Rat Sport RP Performance Mini Cooper, two-time national champion Rich Roman. Robert Ahern will start third in B-Spec, 14th overall in the number 98 Rat Sport Edison Heating Mazda 2. And then we got Bill Saltenberger in his Salt Racing Mazda 2. He's out of Leesburg, Virginia. He starts 15th overall. And then rounding out the 16 car field, driving the number 15 Touring 4 Mazda MX-5 out of Rochester, Virginia, Alexa Frumusa. As the pace car now on the pit lane, gentlemen, turning the field over to Nick Leveroni in that Flat Out Motorsports blue and orange Mazda as the starter looks over the field, and green flag is in the air, and we are racing here at Summit Point as our group, again, 15 laps today, makes the run down to turn 1. The STL Miata has the advantage over Craig Kima's Lotus Super 7 now. That lighter Lotus Super 7, let's see if he can sweep around the outside. He makes a good run at it. He, of course, has those full slicks, David. It takes a little bit longer for him to get heat in the tires, especially with a much lighter car, where Leveroni's DOT tire should light up right away.
Yeah, side by side has come down turn number 3. It looks like that Lotus Super 7 going to try to, it's really going to hold on the inside here. There's still going to be side by sides get through turn number 3. Leverone now on the inside as we get down turn number 4.
Yeah, tell you what, guys, you mentioned, Greg, it's going to take Craig Kima just half a lap really to get some heat in those tires and get that thing really up to temperature. But as warm as it is out here right now, and onto that first pace lap, he was able to really go side by side and get as much heat in the tires as he can. That car looks like it's starting to pull away from Nick Leveroni in that 37. Again, our only STL racer in the group right here today, which again, Nick did not go out for the second qualifying, really only went out for the first one, which most of our drivers did that as well, especially in this group.
All right, and you see there the third car in line, that is Graham Fuller in that light blue Toyota Tercel. He took that car after years of running a Honda CRX and GT Light, took that car to a national championship in 2023. In GT Light, also was a Super Sweep winner that year. Of course, GT Light last year melded into F Production, and so he starts off not only as your F Production pole sitter, but your F Production leader.
Well, I tell you what, our leaders that are just now going down into turn 1, getting ready to come out of turn number 2, and Greg, 8 tires are better than 4 is what it seems like with Greg Chima and Nick Leveroni. Nick was side by side with Chima as they went through there. Now he's going to get the run up out of turn number 2 and up into turn 3. But I tell you what, Nick Leveroni's not going away.
No, not at all. And I think I just said that Graham Fuller was your leader at F Production. Of course, he is now running in second.
Yeah, again, took that car, as you said, went from GT Light, now brought it back down to F Production, going to run that. Again, I think he did it last year too as well.
Yeah, correct.
So again, second year in F Production with that Toyota.
Yeah, and we're finding that I guess the matchup has actually been pretty good in from the former GT Light cars into that production. The major difference is, of course, those GT Light cars in many instances are two-frame silhouette body cars. Correct. In some cases, what may have been front-wheel drive from the factory, a Tercel, by the way, was a rear-wheel drive car from the factory, but could have the drive wheels at the wrong end from what was a production race car. Here, as we now take a look and as our racers come across the line to complete race lap number 2, Matt Brannon in his Fiat X19 is your leader. That's the blue number 22 machine. Rick Benazik in the Honda Civic, now about 1.3 seconds back from there. And things are tightening up in Touring 4, where Owen Scheffer in the black number 18 Mazda RX-8 and Olivier Lucier now running 7th and 8th overall, but I think Scheffer now, there's actually a bit of a gap in the field. Yeah. I think Scheffer with about 4 seconds or so on Lucier's Boxster.
Yeah, I tell you what, let's drop back a little bit. Let's keep this shot right here because I want you guys to take a quick look here at this B-Spec race. So Brian Price leading Rich Roman, and Roman had a problem with that car all day long. Every time we go into turn 3, something was grounding out, and the car was cutting off.
Oh, really?
And as soon as he got back in to straighten it up, coming out of turn 3, headed down turn 4, the car would come back to life. So there's an electrical problem there. Don't think they got that fixed right before lunch. When I was down over there, they were still trying to look at that. So again, keep an eye on that. That pole between them, or Roman and Price, was 8/1000ths of a second. Don't blink, or you would have missed that in there. So.
All right. Well, we'll try to pick up that battle here in just a few moments, and we'll track down for Spencer where they are. Of course. We mentioned Rich Roman, 2-time national champion, took the wins in 2023 and 2024 at VIR in 23, at Road America in 24. Brian Price just now getting back into a B-Spec car after racing for a number of years, both in Spec Miata and also in Touring 4. Brian was your 2014 Pirelli World Challenge TCB champion, and took that win in a Honda Fit, car that's actually still being campaigned by another racer out there. But Brian, no stranger to front-wheel drive cars, and here they come out of turn 2 as they're separated by really just a couple of inches, as now they have started to open up a pretty huge advantage over third and fourth place, actually third place, B-Spec racer Robert Ahern, who's already about 10 seconds back. I think Bill Saltenberger not taking the green flag.
Yeah. Tell you what, when we talked about Brian Price winning that 2014 Pirelli World Challenge TCB Championship, 2 drivers that he beat in that championship, Nate Stacey and Paul Holden. Paul Holden right now, driver for Ted Giovannis' Ford Mustang team.
That's right.
Nate Stacey was a longtime Ford, kind of a Ford factory driver. I believe he was factory.
Yes.
But, that's 2 very big names that he beat in that 2014 season. As it looks like Roman now actually got behind Price and moved Price now up into the top of B-Spec. Is actually dropped back a little bit more, Brian. So like you said, those problems may be coming back to haunt
I was
Roman.
going to say, I'm wondering if those problems are becoming worse and worse every single time. Looks like he may have had 4 off there from what Spencer is pointing out.
Yeah, I saw a lot of dust clouds in the air that drifted over from turn 5.
Trying to get around David Colby, I think, on the last time by, him and Brian Price, and I think that really just ended up going 4 off there. So.
Yeah, now the white Toyota Yaris that we see right behind Rich Roman are about 6 or 7 car lengths back. That is actually the H production car of Tom Broering out of Durwood, Maryland, and Tom currently running in 4th position in H production behind Brannon, Benazik, and Connolly. All right, so let's do this, gentlemen, with now, about 4 laps complete, working lap number 5 out of 15-lap race, third of the way done. Let me make a call to the grid for our next race group. Attention in the paddock, attention in the paddock. Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 600 racers, please head to the grid. Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 600 racers, race group number 2, please head to the grid. Your race is next. And we've got Aaron Johnson in the chat, another production car racer, checking in, wants to know where Mike Kelly is. Aaron.
He's in the paddock right now.
Yeah. drowning his sorrows, I believe, as the number 86 Volkswagen Golf had some mechanical issues right off of the grid during our first qualifying session today. They apparently something on the ignition side that they just haven't been able to get repaired.
He was on the second qualifying because he did go out for the first qualifying because he was behind Brandon by about again 3/100ths of a second earlier this morning. So that problem reared its ugly head when he came out of the pit road for second qualifying, didn't even make it down to turn one.
Yeah, and so Mike Kelly, our H Production track record holder here at Summit Point, took that record and also took a race win at this event a year ago. He had an absolutely magical race here, I believe, a year ago Sunday, where he pretty much ran from the back of the field up to the front. Go ahead, David.
No, I just saw Nick Leverono using all the track here on the exit of 10, almost going to the gravel. So Leverono, I mean, just using every bit of inch of the track that he can on 10.
Well, he's got a lot of experience here. he knows every probably nook and cranny, if you want to say it that way, back from the old school. He knows every nook and cranny of this racetrack. He doesn't run here all the time. Doesn't really run really in the regionals here when we have our Mars championship races, but he comes out when we have majors and some other larger races, and Nick knows his way around this racetrack pretty quick.
Exactly. Nick works primarily running the Super Tour, is the proprietor for Flat Out Motorsports out of Massachusetts. They've got a nice contingent of Spec Miatas that are racing here this weekend, but as you mentioned, Nick has still quite a bit of mileage here behind the wheel. And I was just checking, the track record in STL was actually set back in 2021. Darren Treacle at the time was running a Super Touring Light Honda Civic and set the track record. Of course, we'll see Darren a little bit later today in Bidmore as he's been campaigning, brought his STU BMW 3 Series back out after... I think the last time he had run it before, he did our regional race here a couple of weeks ago as a tune-up. I think otherwise it had been June of last year since that car had been out on track.
Yeah.
Craig Kima resetting fast lap here as he turns in now a 123, 184 in his F Production Lotus Super 7.
Tell you what, Nick, when you look at Kima, Nick can't even see Kima, right? I mean, he's tucked in so tight behind them coming out of turn number one, out of turn number two. You can barely see that car looking head on in our shot right here. It's not till they get almost to the side. So pretty much running identical lap times. Again, it's within, 0.3 of a second that Kima was faster that lap there before, but he starts to open it up. Nick does a little bit, especially going down into turn 4. So
yeah, indeed. And Craig or David, I mean, he at this point he's got enough of an advantage on Graham Fuller, almost 20 seconds at this point, that he can challenge Nick, I think, at this point. But there's no sense in throwing away a race win, just to get the overall lead. That's in the paddock. Second call to the grid for race group number 2. Race group number 2. Formula F, Formula V, Formula 600. Please head to the grid. Your race is next.
Pretty much most of the battle, that's really the closest battle we have, on the racetrack right now. Everybody else is pretty much spread out. We talked about that B-Spec. Brian Price has opened that up by about, let's see here, 4 seconds maybe over Rich Roman. So quite a bit of gap, but let's call it 3 seconds there. And again, when you're in B-Spec, unless you've got a draft, it's really hard to move forward if you've got somebody that's got a 3.5 second lead over you, unless they make a mistake, right?
Right.
Brian Price isn't going to make a mistake out here, right? That's just not going to happen unless he's going around someone or puts himself in a position when he is possibly coming up on one of the slower cars. Everybody here in this group right now, this weekend so far, David, they're pretty even. So you're not going to see that. It's going to be hard to make Brian make a mistake here. So Rich has got his work cut out for him, especially today. Maybe a little bit different, tomorrow, but.
Yeah, and we talked about Brian taking that Pirelli World Challenge TCB Championship back in 2014. He has been racing here at Summit Point Raceway since, I believe, 2007 was his first year. He actually set he's a multi-time Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series champion. That's the Washington, D.C. Regional Series. Has the ITA track record here. He set that back in 2010, and also has numerous Spec Miata wins here at the raceway as well. So at this point, good return. Nice to see that return for him. As you mentioned, he's got about 4 seconds now on Rich Roman. As Roman and Price have been within, as far as their fastest laps, a couple of thousandths of a second of one another.
Sure.
But it's all of those intermediary laps where Roman is what we think is having continued electrical issues.
Speaking of that, I don't know if there might be a problem developing on the Kima car. He's really backed off from Nick Leverone now, and looks like to be almost dropping off the pace. Last lap around that he had was a 125.9. His fastest overall lap was just about 2 laps ago at a 123. So
almost 3 seconds.
Yeah, so don't know if he's down a little bit of horsepower, or it's engine might be starting to go away a little bit or something here. But see how this develops.
Yeah, that's a good. Sorry, Greg. I was gonna say that's a good thing to keep an eye on because he's got about a 30-second lead over Graham Fuller in that number 2 machine. So again, keep an eye. There's Kima now coming up out of turn number 9 and headed up the hill. Again, Leverone now. He just went by Rich Roman. So you're right, Dave. That gap is really opening up. And so I'm wondering if Kima has some type of smaller issue that may be building. The car sounds okay when it comes by the start-finish line, but it doesn't sound like it's up to full, complete song here. Based off looking at the lap times, again, 127.6, so went slower that time than he did even not 2 seconds slower.
That's a lot, that he's dropping each and every lap. So we'll keep an eye there. As we said, Graham Fuller in the light blue Toyota Tercel, quite a distance back. There he is, as he now comes out of turn 10 and onto the front straight to complete.
He lost another 4 seconds
lap.
Too, so he may get.
Maybe they're both backing off with the heat, making sure they have a car for tomorrow.
Well, I was going to say exactly right. I mean, I know we're only going 15 laps here today, but it is getting warmer and the temperatures are really starting to come up. And what your car, as I said at the opening, your car may have handled great during the morning when it's, in that, right at 60 to 64 degree range. Now, as it's getting into the 80s, that car's going away quick.
Right.
You've got to make adjustments to make it for the long haul. Again, with only really 14 cars out on the racetrack, it's going to be green to checker, right?
Agreed. And so we've been watching now, coming down, battle for second in H production. Braden Connolly in the number 12 Fiat X19. Rick Benazik in this black Honda Civic, third-gen Honda Civic hatchback. And Connolly continues to knock off laps that are about 2 to 3 tenths of a second faster than Rick Benazik. So we'll see here as they went out work through traffic and as they put their H production competitor Tom Broering down a lap. We'll see if that maybe brings them closer together. But it looks like Benazik got to Broering, Brian, just at the wrong time. And a matter of fact, Tom Broering now bringing that car onto the pit lane, and it looks like his race has been run.
Yep. Greg, I'm also wondering too, right before we came on air, we had the SRF that was down in the gravel. They put a little bit of gravel when they pulled that car out. How many drivers there are still trying to tiptoe through there? Doesn't look like it's as bad at the beginning, and I think it's kind of swept off as some of these some of these cars have gone around, but at the very beginning, some of these drivers really tiptoed through there.
And they had the pace lap in order to see what was there, but by the time they got there, of course, they were getting ready for the green flag to come out. They weren't necessarily checking out the track conditions like they might have everywhere else. I think they were actually displaying a debris flag for the first lap or two for these racers to let them know that there was some gravel out there. But at this point, I think most of the racers have maybe pushed that off to the side. Hey, let's check back with our F production racers. I just wanted to see if things have changed here, Annie, and it looks like Craig Kima now back down to the low 24s, to 24.2. So he's
Maybe he took a lap or two off, right?
cool down the tires, cool himself down a little bit.
Get a drink, eat a pizza.
Yeah.
Maybe he decided to get something to eat. He was getting hungry in there.
And as Graham Fuller now gets ready to come across the line, he is also running. He's not getting any faster, but he's right. But he's running fairly consistent lap times at this point. Unfortunately, those consistent lap times are about 2.5 seconds off of what Kima's running.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're next time by, we're going to end up having 2 laps left to go, right? This is where everything starts to, you start to hear things in the car, David, right? I mean, your tires are really going away. The fuel's burning off. That car's getting looser and looser, as the race goes on. And so you're just, at this point, unless you're racing somebody in class, you're not going to push it, right? You're just going to do whatever you need to do.
Hey, Brian, let's check in here because Rick Benazik just turned in his fastest lap of the race, and it looks like he's starting to close things down on Braden Connolly.
Yeah.
Connolly, on the prior lap, was almost a full second faster than Benazik, but Benazik, almost as if the Fiat X19 was standing still, just right underneath him in the 5.
Yeah, kind of odd there. I'm wondering if he's got a little bit of a problem as well, because Benazik has just gone by him. There you see it right there as they were coming up through there. Benazik got by him easily going into turn number 5, took that inside line, which is actually kind of the preferred line. It's where you make
and for
most of
one-wheel
your
drive car,
passes.
that's where you want to be.
Correct, and you can use that curbing there to help that car turn, and he just went by Connolly pretty easy, so Connolly not going to give it up that easy either, coming out of there, but I don't think he expected Benazik to really make that jump that quick coming out of turn number 4 down into 5.
All right, so Kima now working the penultimate lap, and as Braden Connolly and Rick Benazik cross the line, a half a second separating them, and that time around, Benazik made up 1.1 seconds on the Connolly car right behind, and Connolly, though, he's sticking right with them. Hey, maybe he was just looking for a little challenge. Maybe. I don't think that's the case.
As our leader, Nick Leveroni, is going to come by the start-finish line here right now. He is going to get that 1 to go board. So working our last lap here in our small bore group, there goes Craig Kima in that F production, that number 05, and I think he's kind of a little bit back again.
Yeah.
Backing off just a little bit. Again, he's got such a huge lead on Graham Fuller. There's no reason to push that. But, yeah, let's keep an eye on that H production. Again, Matt Brannon in that 22 machine. He's got about a 7.5 second lead over Eric Benazik now and Braden Connolly. And that's, again, going to be the battle for second place in H production, Greg. And I tell you what, it's going to come down to the last lap here.
All right, let's do this. Let me make a final call to the grid for our next race group while we have the chance. Attention in the paddock, race group number 2, Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 600. Please head to the grid. Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 600 racers. This is your final call to the grid.
When you get Eric Benazik and Braden Connolly, I'm wondering if Connolly, because he gave it up just so easy going down into turn number 5, did he not know Benazik is racing him in position? Maybe they don't race together a lot, so they probably
they
sure.
do, and they have on the national stage, on the U.S. Majors Tour and the Super Tour. That's why this surprises me so much, and that he may have had an issue many laps before coming out of 10, and here they are going door to door through turn 3. Benazik getting a very good run heading down the hill, as it looked like the Connolly car was maybe having a little bit of an issue with the rear end stepping out on him. Had to yank the car back over to keep from going through the grass on the exit of turn number 3. And this is the section of the course where I think that Honda Civic will definitely have an advantage. Very short wheelbase and very easily rotatable here. And you see now he's opened up about 5 car lengths as we have our final racers here coming across the line, taking the win in Super Touring Light. Not hard, he was your only Super Touring Light racer, was Nick Leveroni, with Craig Kima taking the win in F production, which will put Graham Fuller second in that class, and finishing third overall. In H production, Matt Brannon, there he comes across the line. Brannon will take the win in H production with then Owen Sheffer taking the win in Touring 4. Rick Benazik will hold off Braden Connolly.
Well, maybe. There was some side-by-side contact from what I'm hearing, Greg, down into turn 1. We'll let them handle that, but you're right. Unofficially right now, Benazik is going to end up finishing second in that H production.
There you go. By 1.3 seconds, Tom Broering retired after only 9 laps. And over in B-Spec, taking the first win on the weekend there, Brian Price with Rich Roman second, Robert Ahern finishing in third. And that will wrap up. Let's not forget Touring 4. I talked about Owen Sheffer. Olivier Lucier will finish second in his Boxster, and then Alexa Frumusa in her Mazda MX-5 down from Rochester, New York, will round out the 3-car field. All right, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's our first of 2 open-wheel races here this afternoon from Summit Point Raceway, where it is the U.S. Majors Tour, the SCCA U.S. Majors Tour from Summit Point, presented by the Washington, D.C. region of the SCCA. Stay with us.
At OG Racing, when you are shopping on our website, when we say in stock, this is what we mean by in stock. Seats and seat bases, brakes, harnesses and restraints, shoes, suits and steering, helmets, gloves and undergarments, fire suppression, and so much more. Shipping directly to you from our conveniently located Sterling, Virginia warehouse with thousands of in-stock items.
RP Performance is the only premier race shop in the region that specializes in both street and track Mazdas and is located right in the heart of racing at Summit Point's Gasoline Alley. RP has been involved in countless race wins and series championships across many classes with drivers of all ages. Not just a full-service shop, RP has been helping drivers with their individual racing and other track event needs for over 30 years, providing trackside support, arrive and drive packages, as well as race car transport services. And they're known for its help all attitude. RP Performance is your go-to for getting cars back on track for that positive experience at Summit Point when you're ready to pack it in. For more information about RP Performance, come talk to them here in the paddock. Call them at 304-728-6749 or email them at Brett, that's B-R-E-T, at rpperformanceracing.com.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts and racing equipment to expert driving instruction and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has been providing the Washington, D.C. area with quality tires, expert knowledge, and the finest service. They have earned a reputation as a premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications and stock tires from all the top manufacturers for whatever you drive. From performance and race cars to SUVs and trucks to your daily drivers, Radial's mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. To get a competitive quote on your next set of tires, now with free shipping, or to schedule online, visit radialtirecompany.com or call them in Silver Spring at area code 301-585-2740. That's 301-585-2740.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway and the 2026 SCCA US Majors Tour from Summit Point Raceway. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Brian Donati and David Lance, with Spencer Gaynor, of course, making sure that we're all on the straight and narrow. Next up, Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 600. Let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today, driving the number 72 Formula F Piper out of Strasburg, Virginia, it's Tom Schweitz. Mark Walthu will start on the outside of the front row. He is in the Maisie Racing Ray GR17, representing the Old Dominion region. Difference in qualifying times between these two racers, 4/100ths of a second. Joe Parsons will start on the inside of row number 2. He's driving the number 42 F Production Spectrum, the IAM advisory entry. Then we got Dino Lodico. He is your F6 pole sitter. He starts on the outside of row number 2 in his speed circuit machine out of Mays Landing, New Jersey. Rick Shields, two-time national champion, and your pole sitter in Formula V out of Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, will drive his VDF2. Then we got Dave Scaler driving the number 9 Vortec out of Asbury, New Jersey, starting 6th. Starting 7th, driving the number 29 Formula V, the AutoWorks Advantage Autosports Mysterian of Jeffrey Vallejo. Alexander Smith will start 8th. He is driving the number 129 Mysterian, another Advantage Motorsports machine out of Jersey City, New Jersey. Then we've got Chris Berry in the number 07 Formula V Protoform. He starts 9th. Then we've got Russell Straight. He is in the number 19 Formula 6 Morales entry. He's out of the Western New York region. Then finally, Robert Dietrich in the number 4 Formula V from Pine Bush, New York. As the pace car now heads to the pit lane, turning things over to Tom Schweitz and Mark Walthu. Schweitz in the light blue Piper, and then in the red Ray is Mark Walthu, as green flag is in the air and we are racing once again here at Summit Point. Walthu jumping out to an early lead, Brian, as they make the run down towards turn number 1. Walthu was your 1994 Mars Formula Ford champion and the 2025 Club Ford champion on the regional series, and he tries to sweep right along the outside of Tom Schweitz as they come now out of turn 2 and make the run to turn 3.
Tell you what, I don't think Schweitz knew the green flag had come out, or he was waiting to get further down towards the start-finish line before that green flag came out. But Walthu, as soon as he saw it, he jumped on that throttle, Greg, and took off through there. Now it looks like Schweitzer is going to get back in front of him and kind of open up by about 2 car lengths now, coming out of turn 4, heading down into turn 5. But I'm really excited about this Formula V race, Greg.
Yes.
We haven't seen them here in a very long time, so it's good to see. Again, we talked about the momentum and the flow of this racetrack. Those Formula Vs, you need all the momentum you can get.
Yeah, indeed. You know, when we talked about our front row in Formula F only being separated by about 4/100ths of a second, over in Formula V, Rick Shields and Dave Scaler separated by about half a second, but then only a couple tenths from Scaler back to Vallejo. And really, Shields, Scaler, Vallejo, and Alexander Smith during qualifying were just going 2 by 2 all the way around the track, and I'm really looking forward to that as they come out of turn 10 and onto the front straight, jumping to an early lead. Rick Shields, who's in the red number 77 car, he's got about a second and a half now on Dave Scaler, Alex Smith, and Jeffrey Vallejo. Vallejo now dropping back to 4th position, and Chris Berry not very far back from there in that field. So far, with the exception of Shields, jumping out to that early lead. It looks like we got a nice battle forming in Formula V.
Yeah, we also got a nice battle going on up top there, right as they came out of turn number 10 the last time by in that 42 machine. Joe Parsons, Greg, he set the fastest lap again, only on that first lap, but it looked like he was shot out of a cannon coming out of turn 10. I talk about drive off here. That is where you need to have it, getting into that corner and driving off the corner as hard as you can. He almost got all the way up to Tom Schweitz in that 72 machine going down to turn 1. Thought better of it, had to move back in front of Mark Walther. You can see right here he's a little bit ahead. Walther gets out of turn 9 pretty good. So
It's a nice run. Yeah. It looked like Parsons ended up almost putting the left rear wheel out into the gravel as they came out of turn 8 and lost some momentum up the hill when he needs it most. So Walther gets back ahead as they come out of turn 10 to move Walther now back up in the second. As Schweitz now starts to turn on the afterburners with Walther and Parsons challenging for position here. And we see it now in the draft as Parsons gets back by Walther. Tom Schweitz was almost 7/10 faster than the pair that is now jockeying for second and third.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's been a battle at certain parts of this racetrack. As we look at our Formula V's there, again, Greg, you talk about Rick Shields opening up over David Scaler. The battle is really for that last podium spot in Formula V early on in this race between Jeffrey Vallejo and Alexander Smith in that 29 and that 129. So, again, that's the battle that I think is going to come down to the very end because those two have been kind of right there through the first 2 laps.
All right, as we jump back at more of this Formula V battle, and Rick Shields, who is in the red VDF. Shields, again, a 2-time Formula V national champion, took the gold in 2010 as well as 2014. And, it's been a little bit of time off the top step of the podium for him. This is his first qualifying event of 2026, looking to find his way to the top here and maybe displace another Northeast Conference and Northeast Division racer, Alex Scaler, for the national championship when we head back to Road America in late September, early October.
Yeah. And it's good we're going to be able to have them back. I mean, we didn't have them there last year, and so it was kind of a little down thing. That's kind of my race. I'm going to get into this Formula V thing. Again, it's like a Miata, right? It's all about momentum, but when you get anywhere from 20 to 30 to 40 of these things that we used to have, Greg, it was so much fun to watch because you could be leading the first lap and be dead last by the time you can take lap 2.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you get a bunch of them together. So it is very good to see some of them back here because I think this track really sets them up well, especially when it comes to the drafting.
Indeed. All right, so it is Joe Parsons just reset fast lap once again, and he's lapping about 0.2 faster than Walther, who now, I believe, after that early attack by Tom Schweitz, has now moved the 72 car back into third. Actually, well, here they come all.
Parsons.
Yeah, Parsons now, who started third in class in the Honda-powered Spectrum, now out of Easton, Pennsylvania, is your leader. And again, pole sitter Schweitz in the light blue Piper now running back in third position. But this is shaping up, Brian, to be a great fight here as Schweitz was the fastest of the three. They come out of turn 10 and they spread out 3 cars wide under braking, and Walther perhaps
thought better of it.
Yeah, looking over the long run. And again, Walther, I think, might have the most years behind a Formula Ford or Formula F chassis. Maybe enough compared to both Walther and Schweitz combined. He thinks, maybe discretion is the better part of valor there.
Didn't want to be the meat in that sandwich
No.
when they went 3 wide down into turn 1. So I guess you can go three wide of open wheel cars here and make it through turn 1. Just a matter of one of them has to think better of it in order to do that. So yeah, good run through turn 1 and turn 2. You can see here now they come out of turn number 6 and started headed up. There you go. There you can see. And again, as they got that 3 wide, Greg, now you've got Schweitz. He's moved up by about 4 or 5 car lengths over Joe Parsons there, coming out of turn number 9, headed up the hill down into turn 10. But this is where Parsons really starts to make a run coming out of turn 10. Now he's got to do a little bit of defending there without Walther. But I tell you what, those two get hooked up, they're going to run Schweitz down if they don't battle.
All right, well, this time around, as opposed to laps 1 and 2, they stay in station, but now as they split out side by side, the effect of the draft now effectively gone as they come down in the 1. And Brian, we see here once again that Walthu, when they split up, Walthu, and we saw this we had a region. Yeah, Brian.
Greg, we got Walthu here has got a problem.
Oh, yeah.
You're going to see him get ready right there. That car looked like it just automatically shut down as they went down into turn 1. When he got into the middle of 1 and 2, that car under very little, if not any power.
And what I was going to say, Brian, is when they split up and went side by side, it looked like Walthu did not have the same straight line speed as the 42 of Parsons. And, well, now we know that was absolutely the case as Mark Walthu now brings his car down the crossover road, his race effectively run. That moves Dino Lodico, our Formula 6 leader, up to 3rd overall. And Lodico now with he's just got to manage his race. We haven't talked much about it, but Russell Straight now in the Morales Quadrini R3, running 2nd in Formula 6, just now coming across the line.
Full minute behind.
Yeah, almost a minute behind Lodico. And it's good to see Lodico out. The last couple of races that we've covered with him, he's suffered with some mechanical issues. And so nice to see that is not the case right now. So here's something interesting, Brian, and we'll see it in the shot here.
We got another car there. We got a couple of them.
think that may be the same car.
No, that's not. I don't. Unless he went through the cutout.
Yeah. So here's what happened, Brian. We watch him coming down the cutout again. That is actually Mark Walthu again. He went through the crossover road, worked on whatever issue that he had, and he rejoined on the front straight. So he essentially did turns 1 and 2 on the same lap twice.
And had the same problem both times.
And pulled off in the same place again.
Well,
so
what was weird was he pulled right out in front of Parsons.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering, maybe there may have been something going on. I don't know, but
I don't know.
It was a safe reentry. I will say that. I did hear that through the headset.
Yeah, that came over from our team over at Sound Control.
Yeah.
Brian, the only thing I could think of, if he ended up ahead after turning a lap that was, a 2.5 mile lap on a 2 mile circuit, would have been interesting. But anyway, let's make a call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group number 3, Spec Miata and SMX. Please head to the grid. Spec Miata and SMX racers, this is your first call to the grid.
Yeah, as you were talking about Dino, last couple times we've saw him race. Yeah. He's had some, not only some mechanical issues, he's had some major mechanical issues. And so good to see Dino back out here running in that car. And he has just put a lap on Russell Straight in that number 19 machine. So where you see it right here on the track coming out of turn 2, that is a full lap ahead of that second car in that 19.
Behind.
Yep.
Yeah, ahead of Russell Straight. Now, I'm sure Dino also trying to get that car ready and get himself ready. There is another stop on the U.S. Majors Tour, Brian, in 2 weeks at New Jersey Motorsports Park. But and I'm sure Lodico will be there. I don't believe that race is being broadcast, however. But, Brian, looks like the battle for the lead in Formula V tightening up.
Yeah, tightening up it is. Dave Scaler has run it back down now. He was 0.6 of a second the last time they came across the start-finish line. As you can see here, they come out of turn number 2 right now. That's less than 0.6 of a second, as well as the battle for third between Alexander Smith, who's gotten around Jeffrey Vallejo. I think he did that a couple laps ago in that 129 machine. So pretty good battle going on here in Formula V, and this is what we talked about at the beginning, going through there. Maybe a little bit of brake lock up there, and don't get concerned if you see these cars smoking when they come on and off
on the overrun. That's normal.
Yep. Be concerned if they don't do that.
Exactly. Air cooled motors. Don't be worried there. All right. So it looks like Shields may have picked up the pace again just a little bit more. So Dave Scaler out of Asbury, New Jersey. We talked about Dave's son being your defending national champion in the class, after a number of years of trying, took his first national championship at Road America this past year. Not racing in this race, but Dad Dave is. And Dave is in a Vortec here in this race, and doing quite well so far. Again, hanging right in there now with Rick Shields, a two-time national champion.
And it could be Alex. Again, if he's a defending champ, he doesn't need to, right? He doesn't. If he's going to go next year to Road America, since he was the last champion, they
get an exemption.
Correct.
So they don't have to qualify. They can do that once.
Yep.
And so if he wins the national championship again this year, he'll have to qualify like everybody else next year. But for the time being, he's I'm sure content sitting at home or sitting in the paddock, making sure that Dad's car is capable of running down Rick Shields currently, as Alex Smith and Jeffrey Vallejo now fighting it out for third for the last podium position, as Smith in that gray number 129 Mysterian, in another Mysterian in the dark green number 29 is Jeffrey Vallejo. So 29, 129, whatever, same thing.
158.
Yeah. I'm glad you did it, because I couldn't do that math if I tried.
158. Again, they're so close together, and they've been that way the whole race between both of them, that you just consider it as 1 and 158, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's the easiest way to do it. Same thing as Dave Scaler now is moving up to Rick Shields. You just call that the 86 car, right?
car. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want you to have to take your shoes off of it here.
No, please don't. All right, coming down the front straight and popping to the inside now, Jeffrey Vallejo moving over to driver's right. He used the draft coming out of the corner, and it's a long drag race now down into turn number 1, but Vallejo gets the pass made, but now moving to the inside. He's trying to pass him back before they get in the braking zone. Does not do it to Alex Smith, now running 4th in Formula V here, as and I believe, was that Rick Barry possible? No, that's
your leader.
That's our Formula F leader, exactly.
Yeah, that's Schweitz.
Tom Schweitz, yeah.
He kind of sat back behind them, watched them go through turn 1, and then said, "Okay, gentlemen, I'm going to the far left of you. I'm getting out of your way because I am a little bit faster. I don't want to get in your
I think he was concerned. I think he thought that Alex Smith was going to pop to the inside and try to pass Vallejo back as well.
Right.
That made 3 of us.
Yeah. Well, again, we do know that you can go 3 wide down there with 2 Formula Vs, and that he would have had plenty of room. But again, with the lead that he has over Joe Parsons now at over 23 seconds, it makes sense to just, let me get through this turn, and we'll move forward after that, because I know I'm going to pass him on the straight. So,
all right, is now working with 4 laps remaining. Next time Mr. Schweitz heads across the start-finish line, and Schweitz just reset fast lap. So with 11 laps in the books, now he has a very comfortable lead over Joe Parsons, our only other remaining Formula F racer.
Well, I'll tell you what, Greg, when we get down right here, you can see that's the battle for the Formula V. Schweitz is going to end up going by them. There's no doubt about that, right? Once he goes by them, that's going to cut them back a lap.
A single lap, yeah,
Taylor wants to get this done. He's going to have to get it done quick.
In 3 laps, exactly. Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. Second call to the grid for race group number 3. Spec Miata and SMX, please head to the grid. Spec Miata and SMX racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next. I like that. And Dave in the chat that with the Formula Vs, if it's not leaking, it's not empty.
That's correct. Yeah.
Hey, German cars, whether it be a BMW or a Volkswagen product group, well, we'll see. We'll see if we use that same logic when the Lamborghini comes out a little bit later. That's another Volkswagen. That's technically a German car.
Yeah, no blue smoke, no oil left. That is absolutely correct. I remember the first time I saw these Formula Vs, it's like every race I kept calling, going, "Oh, that car's smoking, that car's smoking." Nope, don't get concerned. It's when they're not smoking is when you should start to be concerned. It looked like we got one car that went off down into turn 1, took the access road over there, going to go over to the one over there. We'll see. That may have been Russell Straight that went through there.
Yeah, we're getting word that it was the 1.9 car, indeed, Russell Straight, in his Formula 600 car. And it sounds like he has not continued.
Well, he made the
turn
left
two.
hander and went down by the skid pad. Back.
Yeah, the what we call the pump house road.
Yep.
Well, we'll check if our cameraman needs any help over there. Maybe we can send him over to lend a hand.
Yeah.
You could get everything, but probably a ride back in the Formula 600.
Yeah, he's over near the skid pad over there, and he's definitely going to need help getting back because that car looked like it wasn't slowing down when it went through there, but looks like he was able to slow it down enough to be safe on that. I don't believe you're going to see him re-enter. Again, with 3 laps left to go, Tom Schweitz now going to come by the start-finish line here. He's going to pick up another lap there, so he's going to have 2 laps to go. Here's the battle in Formula V coming out of turn number 10, getting ready to come down the front stretch. And again, that with only 2 laps left to go, David Scaler, if he wants to get in front of Rick Shields, he's going to have to do it pretty quickly, as it looks like as they come down the front stretch, he looks like he may try to make that move. Didn't get enough run out of there down at the front stretch down into turn 1, so he's definitely going to sit there behind again. You got that standing yellow down into turn 1 for that Russell Straight machine. I believe that's going to be over off driver's left. It looks like he may be out of the way. I'm not sure unless we've got something else going on down there that's got a standing yellow, but that car went all the way to the back of that, so I'm not sure why we still have that standing up down there.
Yeah, again, but all right, and so he's now put that car behind the wall, and it sounds like the driver's out, so hopefully we'll see that yellow flag withdrawn here. Brian, as we're talking about smoking VWs, it just reminds me of Jason Miller, who won his first national championship this year in his Kohler-powered Winfirst prototype car, the 6-cylinder air-cooled car. And because every single time that he comes off the grid to start a race, I inevitably hear our flaggers saying, not here because I don't think he's ever raced here, but always saying that car is smoking, that they need to observe car for a while. And just another air-cooled machine. All right, let's jump back to the battle for the lead now in Formula V. Coming down the front straight, Rick Shields and Dave Scaler now wheel to wheel, side by side, and for the first time today, taking over the point here in Formula V. Dave Scaler out of Asbury Park, he is your new leader. And as we're working the very last lap, Brian, perfect timing for it as they make the run down to turn 1. Another pass for position as Alex Smith gets around Jeff Vallejo, picks up now the last podium position in Formula V with less than 2 miles remaining.
Tell you what, Formula V's first and second, third and fourth. That's the battle on the racetrack. Everybody else is kind of spread out enough where that's not going to come into play here. Again, that last lap, as we pick that up, we're going to wait for, here comes our overall leader of Tom Schweitz in that number 72 Formula F machine.
All right, so Schweitz now out of Strasburg, Virginia, and his Piper coming onto the front straight, starter with the checkered flag in the air and taking the first win of the weekend in Formula F. It's Tom Schweitz. That's going to make Joe Parsons second in class. Let's jump back to the battle for the lead in Formula V, where Dave Scaler leads Rick Shields under the bridge into turn 10 and onto the front straight for the final time today. They're going to do it all over again tomorrow as they are now, and Shields pops out as they are wheel to wheel coming down the front straight and taking the win margin of victory. 44 one-thousandths of a second in Formula V, and it might be just as close, Brian, as we now have Jeffrey Vallejo coming right alongside Alex Smith. And in the fight for third, who is it? Alex Smith by 58 one-thousandths of a second. He's going to take the last step on the podium. 44 one-thousandths separating the winners, and then 58 one-thousandths separating third from fourth.
Tell you what, we might want to look at that because the green 29, which is Jeffrey Vallejo, crossed the finish line first. I'm wondering to find out where his transponder is because he went by the nose of Alex Smith in that 129, Greg. So That seemed kind of odd right there.
Well, we're going to leave it to the stewards
Yeah,
and
I'm
the
not
folks
getting
in
in there,
timing
yep.
and scoring. I mean, obviously, our cameras aren't in the best position to pick that up, but Brian and I are directly
I looked
behind
right
the
at that green
start-finish
car,
stand.
yep.
So we'll definitely see. That is something that we'll probably have to give an answer to either later in the broadcast or tomorrow morning. In Formula 6, of course, Dino Lodico took the win as Russell Straight only completed 10 laps. All right, let's make a final call to the grid for our next run group. That's for the paddock. Final call for race group 3, Spec Miata and SMX. Please head to the grid. Spec Miata and Spec Miata and SMX. This is your final call to the grid. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here with more racing action from Summit Point in just a few moments. Stay with us.
Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized and awarded full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland. Specializing in classic Italian sports cars from Ferrari, Lamborghini, ISO, and Bizzarini, Grand Touring's extensive experience ranges from pre-war to modern exotics, advising on all aspects of the classic car ownership experience, from service, restoration, and climate-controlled storage to sales and consignment. Grand Touring's focus is not just on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles, but making sure that the driving experience is equally as spectacular and authentic. For more information, send email to tom@grandtouring.com. Grand Touring, legends in motion.
Need it welded? Need it now? When things break at the track or out in the field, you don't have time to wait. You need precision. You need reliability. You need Rockman Metalworks. From high-performance race components to critical field repairs, Rockman delivers elite-level welding and fabrication with a research-driven approach that goes far beyond your average welder. This is precision work built to perform when it matters most. And here's the best part. They come to you. With full mobile service, Rockman Metalworks gets you back up and running fast so you can get back in the race. Conveniently located just 30 minutes from Summit Point, call them now at 209-751-9750. Rockman Metalworks. When it has to be right, right now.
The Spring Hill Suites Winchester is an all-suite property that features spacious suites, an indoor heated pool, complimentary hot buffet-style breakfast, a 24-hour fitness center, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Whether you're traveling in a group or flying solo, you'll find it easy to get comfortable in our spacious suites. We're conveniently located just off of Interstate 81 at exit 317 in a shopping center with many shops and dining options. Discount rooms are available. To book your suite today, call 540-431-3330.
Bringing you all the classic hits.
Need a ride?
No. Okay. Taking you back to simpler times.
Hey, dog. Belmont Classic Cars, Belmont, Ohio.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway and the 2026 U.S. Majors Tour SCCA Majors from Summit Point. I'm Greg Ginsberg along with Brian Donati and David Lance along with Spencer Gaynor. And next up, it is, it's supposed to be Spec Miata and SMX. We're just going to say it's Spec Miata here. 14 cars deep. Let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today in the stellar custom jewelry Mazda, representing the New England region, driving the number 74 entry, it's Christian Sarnecki. Mark Cefalo in the Planet Miata Mazda from Sayersville, Pennsylvania. He will start on the outside of row number 1. Difference in qualifying times between these two, 5/100ths of a second. Ryan Maloney, multi-time Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series SSM champion, will start on the inside of row number 2. He drives the number 15 machine with Chase Kovach in the KSA Federal Flat Out Motorsports entry from Fairfax, Virginia, the number 13 car, starting 4th. Starting 5th today. We saw him just a little while ago in his STL car. Now he's in his Flat Out Motorsports Mazda Miata from Mendon, Massachusetts, driving the number 93. It's Nick Leveroni. Domenico Luigi driving the 46 machine. He's in the mechspecial.com entry representing the Glen region of the SCCA, starting 6th. Starting 7th inside of row number 4. Driving the 20 Mazda Miata from Hanover, Maryland, it's Seth Gentry. And Seth is going to start right alongside Ben Foltz. Ben's coming down from Peru, Vermont. He starts 8th. And we got David Gass. David is starting 9th today. He's in the number 81 RP Performance Mazda. He hails from Great Falls, Virginia. Then Tom Kirchman, first of 2 races today for Tom. We're going to see him a little bit later in Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 as well. He represents the New England region of the SCCA, driving the number 92 Mazda here. He starts 10th. Then David Henderson. David is driving the number 28 BDL Motorsports entries from Falmouth, Virginia, representing the Washington, D.C. region. He starts 11th, and he'll start alongside Robert Jacobson, who is in 12th. Robert is driving the number 32 Assabet Advisors Mazda Miata. He's down from Holden, Massachusetts. And then row number 7. Starting lucky 13th today in the Peak Environmental Mazda from Harrisonburg, Virginia. We've got the number 171 car of Brad Williams. And then starting 14th from Chagrin Falls, Ohio, representing the Northeast Ohio region in the number 190 Mazda, it's Key Doss. All right, Brian, and we've now got a local caution down at turn 1 that we've got one driver who his car is sitting dead stick on the pavement between 1 and 2, and is that the 55?
Usually supposed to start 8th.
All right, say that again because we had you on mute.
Sorry, it was the 5 of Ben Foltz that was supposed to start 8th. He's stopped down in turn 1, so we're going to go for another pace lap here as we're going to send a recovery truck to go get him.
Okay.
I believe he's still down there, so yeah, we're going to...
I don't see, look, now that they've removed some of these trees, I'm looking through the binoculars. I don't see the car anywhere, so I'm not sure where the car is unless it's behind,
There's one big tree that still stands, Brian, between turns 1 and 2, just to the left, hour left of this camera shot.
Yeah.
And I think that's where he may be. You notice here, for those of you that have watched our broadcasts over the past number of years here from Summit Point, the management here has raised a lot of the trees that were down in this area of the track. It's opened things up from a spectator point of view if you're over here by the tower like we are, and we can see drivers coming through the horseshoe now, but there is still one very large tree which seems to block our view. And they're stopping it. It's
exactly
just
where
short.
you said it was, right behind the biggest hill with all the brush still there.
There you go. If you look right at the turn 2 flag station there, our emergency services vehicle stopped right across from it. And so they are going to be hooking up that particular car, the number 5 of Ben Foltz, out of Peru, Vermont. And hopefully we'll be ready to go here this next time by. That being said, Brian, we are, I believe, we've started the clock.
Yes, the clock has started.
So this is a race that is scheduled to run either 15 laps or 30 minutes, whichever comes first.
Right.
And so the clock starts running. And so by the time they come around, it'll be probably around 26 minutes remaining. They've got the Foltz machine. They've got the number 5 car hooked up. They're going to take them into that same crossover road that Mark Walthu used twice in one lap. And they're going to pull that car off the track. So we should be able to go green this time around.
Well, I'll tell you what, before we get to that point, I was down there on during qualifying, and Ben was sitting on there, and I saw Jordy Fuhrman. Jordy was supposed to run this race this weekend in Ben's second car, but just didn't have the track time in a Spec Miata to come out yesterday to practice. So, look for him to get another run here, hopefully sometime this year.
All right, lights not only out on the pace car, but the pace car now on the pit lane, turning things over to our pole sitter, driving the black with orange, number 44, Stellar Custom Jewelry Mazda. That is Christian Sarnecki, the Planet Miata of Mark Cephalo in that green and blue entry. Off to the outside as the green flag flies, and we're racing once again here at Summit Point, as we often see here in Spec Miata. Both rows almost dead even as they make the run down to turn number 1. We've got a couple drivers a little bit further back in the pack, Brian, taking a look, maybe the opportunity to pick up a position or two shooting down the center, but nobody takes that opportunity. But getting a great push through turn 1 is Christian Sarnecki with the blue and silver number 15 of Ryan Maloney directly behind. Maloney gave a nice push into the braking zone, but he can't turn that into a position advantage here as Mark Cephalo is going to slot back into second position, Maloney third, Chase Kovach and Nick Leveroni will run 4th and 5th as they come down the hill, and side by side, door to door, going through the chute, fastest corner on the course. Domenico Luigi in the number 46 machine, that white and yellow and red entry, I think, getting around Seth Gentry, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, good run there by Dr. Dom getting into that single file. But you talked about Mark Cephalo getting in front of Ryan Maloney. Ryan kind of let Mark in right there. If not, it would have just held everybody up and probably would have allowed Christian Sarnecki to get even a bigger lead. Look for Nick Leveroni and Ryan Maloney to work together. They worked together all during the runoffs, did very, very well. They did back-to-back again here this weekend during qualifying already in the first session. So look for them to work, whether it's Leveroni in front or Maloney behind him, but look for them because they've got to be able to run down Sarnecki and Cephalo.
Well, David, as early on, it looks like Leveroni might not have that plan in mind. As he came out of turn 10, went right alongside the number 15 machine, and Leveroni now takes over third, pushes Maloney back to 4th, and Chase Kovach very close behind in 5th.
Yeah, and don't forget the Kovach and the Leveroni machine. Those are teammate cars. So this the 14-car field here, a lot of guys don't have a lot of teammates. These two could really use that together, though, as it looks like maybe Leveroni got back with Maloney there. I couldn't tell coming out of 3, but it looks like they kind of got back together. Chase back, a little further back.
Yeah, those two work together, like I said, down at the runoffs quite a bit. Together. Leveroni having some issues here yesterday during practice, ended up coming off turn 10, ended up into the wall there with the left side of that car, but that car doesn't look to be too bad right now, just had some door damage there, but Ryan Maloney, former SSM champion here, got a lot of laps around this racetrack, so look for Ryan to be right up front here by the time we get to lap 15. It's going to depend on whether or not him and Nick can get together, because if not, Sarnecki and Cephalo, they will run away and hide quickly.
Yeah, and so Maloney, 2023 and 24 SSM champion here, the SSM class, a regional class primarily for 1.6 liter Mazda Miatas, for those NA Miatas. And Ryan, now this is his second year racing in the U.S. Majors Tour, made his runoffs debut, as you mentioned, Brian, this past year at Road America, and now getting a nice little jump. Looks like Dr. Dom and Seth Gentry, well, they've got Chase Kovach. Kovach has fallen a little bit off.
Yeah,
now,
he kind of fell back to them. He was a little bit of a gap there, but he's kind of fallen back to Dominic and and Seth Gentry.
And not that far behind then, David Gast in the number 81 car, the black and orange, the pumpkin machine there as they come down the hill. losing a little bit of ground out of turn 3. We'll see if we start to see Dr. Dom, Domenico Luigi, and Seth Gentry start the fight. You may see that number 81 car come here into the battle as we now have 3 laps complete, working lap number 4 of our 15-lap planned race. Again, the clock down a little bit further than we expected.
Yeah.
About 23 minutes remaining on the clock. This should still
get that in under the
easily
number of laps,
with these racers turning in about taking a little bit less than a minute and a half per lap. It shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
All right, as our leaders now coming out of turn 10, little wisps of tire going into the gravel here on the outside of turn 10. And as they cross the line, Christian Sarnecki and Mark Cefalo, though, Brian, really starting to open up an advantage over Leveroni and Maloney. That last time, Cefalo, your fastest racer on track, with about 0.3 of a second separating he and Sarnecki, as Sarnecki had originally jumped out to an early lead. Cefalo using the draft to close back in.
Yeah, you know what, David? I think Cefalo's just content right there to sit behind Zarnecki, get out in front. Don't bring Leveroni, don't bring Maloney, Kovac, the rest of this group into that battle. As there goes, I believe that was Kovac. That may have been Seth Gentry with that right rear hitting that. I believe that was Seth Gentry that kind of got that right rear tire off. But David, I think Cefalo's kind of content right there to sit behind Zarnecki. Get out in front. Don't let anybody else get back up, because the minute you start going too wide, that brings that whole field back to you.
That's kind of the name of the game of, Spec Miata or Miata racing. Try to hook up with somebody, try to run away together, not really try to fight. So Mark Cefalo and Sarnecki, though, they worked really well in qualifying together. They were basically nose to tail almost that entire session, and they were basically, setting the fastest laps together as they ran. So this is definitely going to be an unstoppable duo to kind of catch. As we see, they're kind of the 2-car breakaway, but then about a couple seconds behind them, this kind of 3-car group of Leveroni, Maloney, and Kovac. It's, we still got 10 laps to go, but it's almost time to go now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so Sarnecki took the win here during the Saturday race at this event last year. He took the win on Sunday as well, looking to get his 3rd U.S. Majors Tour win at some point in a row. Cefalo last year, I know Mark Cefalo finished 3rd, I think both days last year. Indeed, he did, behind John Salerno. Salerno not running here this weekend. And they were the best. They were the top 3, and those 3 were running at a much higher pace, much lower lap times than anybody back behind. And those top 3 had just really kind of walked away from the rest of the field here. And once again, they are just trying to separate themselves. But you're seeing where Leveroni and Maloney, for his part, Chase Kovac, not really fighting at this point, trying to push back up to our leaders, because with 10 laps to go, there's still plenty of time.
Yeah, I mean, Seth Gentry got around Domenico Luigi right there, so move Seth Gentry now up another position. Move him up to 6th right now. He's on the back bumper of Chase Kovac. And I tell you what, Kovac last time by going down into turn 1, Greg, he really wanted to get by Maloney to get up to his his teammate there, Nick Leveroni. There's too many E's and Y's and everything else going down in here. But he really tried to push the issue. Ryan wanted nothing to do with it. So was able to stick his nose right back in there, as now we go down into turn number 1. Maloney's going to look like to the inside of Nick Leveroni. Kovac is going to go with Leveroni. That's going to force Ryan Maloney. He's going to have to stick it right back in there, David, if he wants to stay there. If not, he's going to go all the way back to 6 or 7.
It looks like he's going to stay there in the 4th position. So they tried to kind of freight train around Maloney, but Maloney kind of did not let that happen. And just see Kovac right up behind with Gentry. Gentry gave Kovac a really good push down the front straightaway, and that kind of got a lot of momentum here. So again, as we keep saying, as these guys keep battling on and keep trying to fight amongst themselves, that top 2, they're still running away further now.
Well, they're going to run away a little bit further if they're going to sit there and you're going to take 5 or 6 cars and start to maneuver around each other. Again, last time by it was Kovac. This time by it was Maloney trying to get by Leveroni down into turn 1. Again, that's going to allow Cefalo and Zarnecki to pull out.
So a little bit further back and right at the tail of this line, Dr. Dom, Domenico Luigi, I'm sure he saw what we just saw, which is Seth Gentry's number 20 machine with not only brake lockup going into turn 5, but inside rear brake lockup, which is very, very strange on these cars that you typically you'd see that tire still loaded up and not going and putting a lot of white smoke in the air. So that might be something that Luigi can use to his advantage a little bit later on, as we are now halfway through this 15-lap race and coming down the inside, looking to push Nick Leveroni back, Ryan Maloney, and Chase Kovach. And they were doing it going into turn one, Brian, perhaps, and made the presence known early on to perhaps not lose a lot of momentum. But I'll tell you, that's exactly what they did, is they were still side by side coming out of two, going into turn three. Now, as Ryan Maloney moves up into third, moving Nick Leveroni back, and it looks like Leveroni was able to hold off the damage there and keep the 13 of Kovach behind him.
I'll tell you what, we saw a couple weeks ago during our first Mars event of the year, that turn three, you could really get it done around the outside, because that guy on the inside, you basically kind of had to pinch him, and he's at the mercy of you on the outside. So that's, turn three in the outside lane, that's really going to be an action area throughout the weekend.
Yeah, you don't really notice it from our cameras, but turn three, when you enter, it's uphill. It is... and there is a little bit of a groove there, but if you're stuck to driver's left coming out of two, it is practically a 90-degree turn through there, and it's very difficult to keep the pace up if somebody tries to force you further to the inside. But we can see here exactly what happened with those four cars fighting it out for position. That has now allowed Sarnecki and Cefalo to open up another full second back to that pack of Maloney, Leveroni, Kovach, Gentry, Luigi, and then it looks like David Gass now really falling off the pace.
Well, last time by, as you talked about, Kovach, he was the one who pushed Ryan Maloney ahead of Nick Leveroni. But now those two, again, as I said, they're now nose together. They're taking off. But now you've got Seth Gentry pushing the issue really, really hard on that number 13 of Chase Kovach there. Luigi just kind of sitting back there a little bit further. He was the one who helped Seth Gentry get in front of Chase Kovach right there, coming out of turn number 2 and up the hill into turn number 3. So again, that battle is going to start to fall back from Maloney and Leveroni.
All right, and you'll notice there the one car that isn't in that group any longer, David Gast in the black with orange numbered 81. He had a bit of a wild ride last time through off camera, going through turn 3, all four wheels in the gravel. And I mean, it's not that hard to escape something like that. You just straighten up the wheels, the track comes back to you, but you lose so much momentum, so much pace as you want to carry it through what is the fastest complex on the course going down through the chute.
Yep.
Tell you what, Brian, you're right here with Leveroni and Maloney. Now they're hooked up together and really starting to push each other down the front stretch, as Leveroni was shoving Maloney down the front stretch, basically giving him a couple bump drafts. So they are, this is really starting to become a good battle here for third.
Attention in the paddock, race group number 4, open wheel and prototype racers, please head to the grid. Race group number 4, open wheel and prototype racers, your race is next, please head to the grid. Speaking of dropping wheels into the gravel over there, so I saw somebody the other day was talking about when the folks at Summit Point actually posted up on social media, look at all of the things that we have done to this racetrack over the last 30 years, and they showed spectators with the grass like waist high at the track. And, basically, they really look after the facility here, I think, very well. But somebody mentioned that gravel trap over at turn 3, which has some very thick pieces of rock, and if you are behind another car going into that gravel trap, Brian, you're lucky if you don't come out with a cracked windshield there. It's really rough on racers.
Yep, no, absolutely. I mean, it's, you're right. If you don't, I don't even have words to say it, right?
I know.
It's like if you don't, then obviously you didn't drive it in hard enough. I guess that's the only thing I could tell you. But, most definitely that really does happen there. But, Christian Zarnecki, he's opened up over Mark Cefalo now, guys, by about 4 or 5 car lengths, which has been kind of the biggest gap. It's up to 1.1 seconds. So, Mark obviously falling off a little bit. Remember, Mark concentrated on that T4 program for a while as well. Kind of got out of the Spec Miata and then kind of getting back into it now again, I believe, this year. So, it may take a little bit of time for Mark to get back up with this 00, but I think he's going to get it done quite a bit.
And as somebody who would know well, Brian, Nicole Cooper Cephalo in the chat, so many windshields.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure she's probably sitting back here now watching the stream and watching Mark fall back going, hey, I could do better, Mark. Come on, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So.
Well, she might be on the radio pushing them on here. All right, as we take a look again at Ryan Maloney and Nick Leveroni's battle for third. Maloney just turned in his fastest lap of the race, about a tenth or so faster than Leveroni. But look at this now. Gentry has really separated out from Kovac and Luigi. Kovac and Luigi now lock nose to tail. They want to get back up to the blue number 20 machine just a little bit further ahead. And Luigi it's interesting, Brian, as they come through turn 10. I'm so used to watching folks like Danny Stain and a couple of the other folks down in the Southeast Division that actually will keep a draft up all the way through a corner. And you saw there where Luigi actually dropped back under braking going into turn 10, and there was about 2 car lengths separating he and Kovac as they came out of the corner onto the front straight, and it took almost the whole front straight for them to get back together. And in doing so, they lose ground to Seth Gentry ahead.
Yep. Seth Gentry's kind of in that position right now, Greg and David, where he's kind of not on an island because he's still giving Kovac and Luigi a little bit of a draft help there come through, but he's not getting completely full draft between Maloney and Leveroni, although he's starting to reel them in a little bit, especially coming down through turn number 5.
Attention in the paddock, second call to the grid for race group number 4, open wheel and prototype racers, Formula Atlantic, Formula Continental, FE2 racers, as well as Formula X, prototype and prototype 2. Please head to the grid. Your race is next.
Believe our leader, Christian Jarnecki, kind of dropped 2 wheels off there coming out of 10. And as the next couple of cars started to come through there, which would have been Maloney and Leveroni, along with Seth Gentry really couldn't see because of the dirt. Had to move really hard right into the center of the racetrack because he didn't know what was on the other side.
Yeah, saw Sarnecki there when he came down the front stretch, start weaving back and forth trying to clean up those tires and everything with the dirt. So it looks like it doesn't really affect him much. As Cephalo, though, still about in the same ground. As we come back to this battle for third here, it's still Nick Leveroni right behind Maloney, though. They're still about 9 seconds back from the second place car, Cephalo.
Well, remember, I was kind of talking in the chat here for a couple minutes, and I do remember seeing this a couple weeks ago. So Mark Cephalo's car is brand new car, brand new build, first time out, first weekend, and that's kind of what I thought. So again, still into that braking period, trying to get through the the nuances and trying to get everything set back up again. So look for tomorrow to be probably even better, as we're going to go 25 laps tomorrow. As the next time Christian Zarnecki comes around out of turn number 10 down the start-finish line, he's going to end up with 2 more laps to go here.
All right, is now onto the front straight he comes. Penultimate lap now underway, and separating Christian Zarnecki and Mark Cephalo 1.4 seconds as we now watch the battle for third, coming to the line and now popping out, Brian, Seth Gentry in the blue number 20, coming alongside Nick Leveroni under braking now into turn 1. Now Leveroni, he's going to be stuck to the outside, but Gentry can't get alongside as they come into the brake zone, and he has to slot back into position. That doesn't bode well as we come down to the final lap. If when he steps out there, just cannot carry the momentum of that draft.
I'll tell you what, that car is really starting to get better as the race goes on. As Ryan Maloney goes 2 wheels off up in the top of turn 3, but Seth Gentry 0.8 of a second faster than both Maloney and Leveroni that last time by, guys. I tell you what, that car's hooked up right now. There goes our leaders there. You can see it's still a huge gap between those. So again, we're looking for Christian Zarnecki the next time by. We'll be getting that one to go, but Seth Gentry's got a big push on Nick Leveroni now. Look for them to really chase down Ryan Maloney. Don't be surprised if Seth Gentry doesn't try to make a move there, gentlemen. Again, coming out of turn number 10.
The problem, as we saw, is as soon as he pops out, he just well, we know that typically, and especially with this long straightaway, it is like hitting a parachute, and he does it once again. And I'm wondering, Brian, if he's just not popping out too early here. We'll see. He does end up right alongside, but Leveroni, I think on the last lap, also got into the braking zone a little bit deeper. So now, and right behind is the pair of Kovac and Luigi, as Luigi looks like he's going to get around Kovac. But once again, Seth Gentry cannot take advantage of the run that he gets out of turn 10. And Brian, I think he just has to stay behind Leveroni longer and pop out later.
I think you're right. I think in that case there, he really got a good run out of turn number 10, pulled out way too soon. Again, that huge parachute, Nick wasn't going to give it up. Drag raced him all the way down into turn 1, had to get through there. So it looks like Chase Kovac getting 2 wheels off there in turn number 3.
That's right, as Luigi presses him out wide, and Kovac now will slot back in behind Luigi, now falling back to 7th, Luigi up to 6th.
So our leaders, though, coming through turn number 8 now as they come up the hill. Here comes Christian Zarnecki into 44. It's pretty much been a dominant race for him. He got out front and controlled this entire race, comes under the bridge, down through turn number 10 through the final time. Going to use all the exit, and take it away, Greg.
All right, as they come now out of the final corner onto the front line, just short of coming up on the 190 at Key Doss, but taking the checkered flag for the first of 2 races this weekend, it is Christian Zarnecki. That's 3 races in a row for him at Summit Point. Now here's the fight for the last podium position. It is Ryan Maloney. He's going to lead the trio of Maloney, Leveroni, and Gentry to the line, and as they cross this stripe, only 94 one-thousandths of a second separate Leveroni and Gentry. Gentry, again, not able to get it done. So it's Zarnecki, Cefalo, Maloney, your top 3. Domenico Luigi will finish 6th ahead of Chase Kovac. David Henderson will finish 8th. David Gast will bring the number 81 machine home in 9th. And had a pretty quiet race. Tom Kirchman now coming down the front straight. There he is in another one of the Flat Out Motorsports entries. Tom Kirchman will round out your top 10. All right, well, that's going to wrap things up for our first of 2 Spec Miata races this weekend. They're scheduled to race again tomorrow, of course, and they will likely be our last race before we break for lunch tomorrow, so you don't want to miss that, probably somewhere around 10:30, 10:40. So let's make a final call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock, final call for race group number 4, open wheel and prototypes, Formula Atlantic, Formula Continental and FE2, Formula X, prototype, and prototype 2 racers, please head to the grid. Race group 4, this is your final call to the grid. So, gentlemen, let's take a quick break. Get ready for a big change in strategy here for our open wheel racers. It's going to be very different than watching the drafting in Spec Miata. And when we come back, another one of our 15-lap races, part of the 2026 SCCA US Majors Tour here from Summit Point. Stay with us.
At OG Racing, when you are shopping on our website, when we say in stock, this is what we mean by in stock. Seats and seat bases, brakes, harnesses and restraints, shoes, suits, and steering, helmets, gloves, and undergarments, fire suppression, and so much more. Shipping directly to you from our conveniently located Sterling, Virginia warehouse with thousands of in-stock items.
RP Performance is the only premier race shop in the region that specializes in both street and track Mazdas and is located right in the heart of racing at Summit Point's Gasoline Alley. RP has been involved in countless race wins and series championships across many classes with drivers of all ages. Not just a full-service shop, RP has been helping drivers with their individual racing and other track event needs for over 30 years, providing trackside support, arrive and drive packages, as well as race car transport services. And they're known for its help all attitude. RP Performance is your go-to for getting cars back on track for that positive experience at Summit Point when you're ready to pack it in. For more information about RP Performance, come talk to them here in the paddock. Call them at 304-728-6749 or email them at Brett, that's B-R-E-T, at rpperformanceracing.com.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts and racing equipment to expert driving instruction and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has been providing the Washington, D.C. area with quality tires, expert knowledge, and the finest service. They have earned a reputation as a premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications and stock tires from all the top manufacturers for whatever you drive. From performance and race cars to SUVs and trucks to your daily drivers, Radial's mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. To get a competitive quote on your next set of tires, now with free shipping, or to schedule online, visit RadialTireCompany.com or call them in Silver Spring at area code 301-585-2740. That's 301-585-2740.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway. It is the first stop in the Northeast Division on the SCCA U.S. Majors Tour here at Summit Point. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Brian Donati, David Lance, and of course Spencer Gaynor, making us all, if not sound good, look good. That's a tough thing to do, isn't it?
That's a huge challenge.
All right, next up is our large open wheel group, Formula Atlantic and Continental FE2, as well as Formula X, and also our prototype field. Unfortunately, today, I believe we are only 6 cars deep. So let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today, driving, and let me pick it up here, driving his Van Diemen RF00, the Team Schaffer Motorsports entry. That's a Formula Continental, Chaz Schaefer. Of course, Chaz was our 2007 SCCA National Champion in Formula Continental. Rick Silver will start on the outside of the front row, also in a Van Diemen. I believe this is a Van Diemen RF 98. He's out of in the Quicksilver Race Engines entry. I'm having trouble getting everything out today. Sam Harrington is our FE2 pole sitter. He's driving the number 33 Harper Home Services entries out of Finksburg, Maryland. Then we got Gabriel Jasper. I guarantee you're going to hear Gabriel coming. Gabriel has crossed our 103 decibel sound limit about 15 times in qualifying here today. You'll be able to hear Gabriel when that car is down in the carousel from up here. Gabriel's in a Van Diemen R44. He's out of Toms River, New Jersey. Jason Fraley is our sole prototype entry today, driving a West WR 1000. Jason's out of Wellsville, Pennsylvania. He's in the blue number 142 car. And then finally, Russell Straight. So Russ, a little bit earlier today, the Formula 600 entry, Russ is driving an FE2 machine. He's out of Alden, New York, and drives the number 77 car. All right. As the pace car now heads to the pit road, turning the field over to Chaz Schaefer and Rick Silver. Green flag is in the air, Brian.
Yeah, I tell you what, Greg, they're going to go side by side right off the bat with Silver and Schaefer. And I tell you what, it does look like that may be Schaefer that's going to get that early lead headed down in there into turn number one. Now, actually, that was Sam Harrington.
Harrington in the FE2 car. Wow.
Start from there.
Yeah, it came right across the nose of Rick Silver. And Silver is going to be the third car to enter the horseshoe at turns 1 and 2. Chaz Schaefer in the silver, blue, and red number 35 entry, jumping out to an early lead. And it looks like Rick Silver, though, able to take the point, get back around Sam Harrington's FE2 machine there as the 33 car now drops into third position. Big wiggle a little bit further back. That was the 66 of Gabriel Jasper in the Van Diemen, and just now getting that car back underway. But look at the advantage so far opened up by Chaz Schaefer.
Yeah, I tell you what, again, I think our cameras decided that it's getting a little warm out there. So turn 6 camera is going to be out for a little while here. But yeah, what a run here at the very beginning. Again, we saw Sam Harrington get that good start. I think now you're going to see Schaefer and Rick Silver start to pull away.
Yeah, and as they come to the line, Chaz Schaefer already with a 3-second advantage over Rick Silver as everybody else comes across the start-finish line now. And good start for Schaefer again. Schaefer, our 2007 national champion, Formula Continental, took that win at Heartland Motorsports Park in Topeka, Kansas, one of the, I believe, 2 years that we ran the national championships there.
Car getting 2 wheels off there, and you see everybody else alters their line, right? The minute in this group here, well, because there is no windshield.
No windshields, exactly.
So you alter your line when you go through there. If you see any type of rock being kicked up or somebody goes 2 wheels off there, it's amazing to watch these drivers, kind of alter that line quite quickly. This again, apologize for turn 6 camera. Looks like that heat has really gotten to that camera person down there. Probably on a water break.
We'll make sure to hydrate them better tomorrow.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be an issue based on what the weather's supposed to be.
From basically what we've got coming in here, I don't believe tomorrow's weather is going to be worried about being warm.
All right, well,
especially in the morning.
We'll see what we can do. We'll have 2 more races after this today. Next up, because I know somebody in the chat was asking about American Sedan. They're going to be out next. Our big bore racers, our American Sedan racers, GT racers, as well as Super Touring Under, and our 3 largest touring classes will be next up. And we're going to round out the day with Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. That should be a barn burner here today. We'll see. We have one racer that we think has got a based on what we saw in qualifying, has a definite advantage here, Brian, but that should be still a great way to end up racing here from Summit Point on day number 1. I want to thank everybody for joining us. And if you like what you see here today, of course, make sure, give us a big thumbs up, smash that.
I finally got you to say it after all these years.
Exactly. Smash that like button. And if you haven't done so already, please go ahead and subscribe to the Washington, D.C. region SCCA YouTube channel. We bring you lots of SCCA road racing coverage all season long.
Oh, Greg, and we've got some cars coming off of turn number 10.
We've got two cars coming together, coming out of turn number 10. And that's going to bring out a local caution at turn 10. And I suspect, Brian, most likely a full course caution here momentarily.
Yeah.
So again, local caution here at the raceway. Chaz Schaefer, your leader, Rick Silver second. And we are going to a red flag condition here at Summit Point, which is going to have all of our racers come to a little different from what you see in Formula One. They're going to come to a safe, controlled stop, and that's to open up the track so that our emergency services teams can work the situation here. And so we've got our teams responding, and a couple of racers we believe, we'll try and track down which racers those are. I think
one of them is Sam Harrington in the 33, and one of the blue, red. I'm not sure if that is
I think that
Farley or.
No, it's not Fraley. Fraley's in the prototype car that we just saw.
Yeah.
And it might be the 60. I think that's the 66 of Jasper.
Could be.
That might have been involved there. So we've got teams responding, and we'll let people show up. But let's do this while we can. Why don't we go take a look? We were just talking about all the racing that we've got coming up on the schedule. Brian, if you could go and talk about that.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. Again, we've got some upcoming races here. We've got May 2nd and 3rd. We're going to be down at VIR. That is going to be for the SARC Mars. Then we're right back here in June, June 13th and 14th. That is going to be back here at Summit Point. Still working on the June for the NJMP and the Lightning. Again, that's going to be part of the from the Mid-Atlantic Mars Series. And then we're right back here in July, so really not a whole lot of time off in there at Summit Point. Again, still tentative on the Mid-Ohio. We'll see about that. I know that I'm going to be there in June racing in June on Father's Day weekend. So glad to get back up to there. And then we're right back here for our Labor Day event, September 5th through the 7th at Summit Point. And then we round out the season once we all come back.
Right after the runoffs.
When we come back, we're going to be back here at Summit Point on October 10th and October 11th. So a great deal of racing action still to go here in this 2026 season, Greg. So it's really going to be interesting.
All right. Well, let's do this, Brian. We know that we're going to have teams going and working this incident, and it looks like there's some tire wall damage that's going to need to be repaired. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll give you a little bit of an update and see when we have a possible start time or restart time here at Summit Point, where you are watching the 2026 U.S. Majors Tour, and we'll be right back.
Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized and awarded full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland. Specializing in classic Italian sports cars from Ferrari, Lamborghini, ISO, and Bizzarini, Grand Touring's extensive experience ranges from pre-war to modern exotics, advising on all aspects of the classic car ownership experience, from service, restoration, and climate-controlled storage to sales and consignment. Grand Touring's focus is not just on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles, but making sure that the driving experience is equally as spectacular and authentic. For more information, send email to tom@grandtouring.com. Grand Touring, legends in motion.
Need it welded? Need it now? When things freak at the track or out in the field, you don't have time to wait. You need precision. You need reliability. You need Rockman Metalworks. From high-performance race components to critical field repairs, Rockman delivers elite-level welding and fabrication with a research-driven approach that goes far beyond your average welder. This is precision work built to perform when it matters most. And here's the best part. They come to you. With full mobile service, Rockman Metalworks gets you back up and running fast so you can get back in the race. Conveniently located just 30 minutes from Summit Point, call them now at 209-751-9750. Rockman Metalworks. When it has to be right, right now.
The Spring Hill Suites Winchester is an all-suite property that features spacious suites, an indoor heated pool, complimentary hot buffet-style breakfast, a 24-hour fitness center, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Whether you're traveling in a group or flying solo, you'll find it easy to get comfortable in our spacious suites. We're conveniently located just off of Interstate 81 at exit 317 in a shopping center with many shops and dining options. Discount rooms are available. To book your suite today, call 540-431-3330.
Baron AM, bringing you all the classic hits.
Need a ride?
No. Okay. Taking you back to simpler times.
Hey, dog. Belmont Classic Cars, Belmont, Ohio.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering Spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out with such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see whether or not Silver's going to be able to catch Schaefer. Schaefer had opened up such a big, huge gap. Unfortunately, when we had that incident, again, this will be a single file. Again, we're down to 4 cars at this point. But we're going to get to the conclusion of this race, and we're going to get back going here as we did. But just as you said, it's probably going to be kind of closer to that 7.5 minutes. So, you think about, a minute and a half per each lap. Probably could get 3 or 4 laps, but we'll wait and see what they do here.
Yeah, we were running about 1:13s as the fastest laps. They were probably evening it out to about 1:14. So we're going to go green with a single file restart, though. So see the pace car as it comes under the bridge, speeds up, and will pull in. So, Brian, we're going to go back to green this time by.
Yeah, again, it'll be where Chaz Schaefer is going to start this. I mean, he's going to control it right now as we're waiting for that green flag to come out. And we are back underway racing here with Group 4. Chaz Schaefer going to lead this group back down. Rick Silver, Jason Fraley, and then Russell Straight. Those are the last 4 cars that are on here. And again, David, they got actually a really good start there. Schaefer going down. I tell you what, Fraley is going to end up getting a little bit further.
Yeah, Schaefer pulled out, had a really good jump there at the start. And Fraley, though, got right up behind Silver. So this is going to be a good battle for second overall.
Yeah, no, again, for overall, not going to be in class, right? It is in that prototype. But you're right. I think now that these tires have cooled off, brakes have kind of cooled off a little bit, what's going to end up happening is you could see, there where Fraley is able to run him down a little bit.
Yeah, as they come down turn number 5 here, still, Schaefer pulling out that gap again to Silver. So last time it was about, 0.5 of a second. It's probably going to be extended out a lot more now.
Mm-hmm. As they start to come down through here into turn 6 and coming up out of turn number 10 again. We'll have to see there. I think our turn 6 camera went down again. Here comes Schaefer out of turn number 10, headed down in there. And again, there's that Silver machine. There's that Fraley machine coming down out of turn number 10, David. And I tell you what, it's going to be a good battle when we get to the end.
Attention in the paddock. Attention the paddock with drivers from race group number 2. That's Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 6. Please head to the classroom for a 4:15 meeting. That's 10 minutes from now. Drivers in race group number 2, Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 6. There's going to be an all-hands drivers meeting for your group starting at 4:15 in the classroom. Also, race group number 5, American Sedan, GT1, GT2, GTX, STU, T1, T2, T3, race group 5. Please start heading to the grid. Your race is next.
Yeah, I tell you what, David, you're starting to see this right here again as we were making that call again. Fraley starting to reel in Rick Silver in that number 26 as they came through the carousel there, kind of up underneath the bridge. Starting to head down into turn number 10. So that is really starting to get interesting for that second overall. Silver obviously going to finish second in Formula Continental unless Schaefer has a problem, but Schaefer's been pretty spot on this entire event.
It looks like as they came down the front straightaway now, as they start the finish line, Silver really starting to open that gap up to Fraley on the straightaways, but it looks like as we get further down, Fraley closes that gap, so it's kind of almost like cat and mouse here.
Silver's really getting a good run coming up out of 8 last couple of laps down into turn number 10. That's where he's opening it up. It's right about in here coming out of turn 2 where Fraley in that 142 machine, that prototype, really starts to reel him in coming down from turn 1 all the way here to the chute, turn 4. Silver gets through this back half of this racetrack just that much better.
Oh, actually in trouble. We got a waving yellow. Rick Silver might have had a little bit of a lockup. The back end came around on him at 5 as he kind of exited stage right there at the cameras. So Fraley, though, see what happens, but he should be up in a second.
Yeah, it looks like there goes that was Silver that spun down there in turn number 5. We'll see him come back through there, but you're right, David. He got a little bit aggressive going in to turn number 5. There he is. Russell Straight's now going to pull ahead of him coming up out of there. So just about 3.5 minutes left to go. I don't believe that we're going to end up getting, he's going to be able to get to that race and get back up. He's going to have to battle with Russell Straight again.
As we apologize, starting to have some technical difficulties with our cameras, though, as they come down the front straightaway. Straight moves up to the third spot overall. And again, Brian, just not really out of class battle between these two. So, it depends how much you really want to fight for it. I get it's the overall podium, but still, how much do you really want to try and fight and, kind of just. I'm trying to find the word here, but not really try to ruin anything.
Well, again, if you've got, when he spun down there in turn 5, it's a matter of whether or not he's got flat spots on the tires. If he's got flat spots, that handling is definitely going to go away. He's going to have a huge vibration with that. It's going to be very, very tough to even really get by Russell Straight in that number 77 in that Formula Enterprise 2 machine. But it does look like he's going to make that pass. Russell's going to open it up, let him go back by through there. So, again, just about 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 40 seconds left. Chaz Schaefer now completing lap number 8, I believe, in the books right now. But again, we're going to finish this race on time as this race continues on. So starting lap number 8 for him. So excuse me.
Little bit of a lockup there going down through number 1.
Trying to push it a little bit too hard there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, again, he's got about a 5-second lead, so there's really no use in maybe trying to push your equipment and everything with that far of a lead. So, maybe just want to try to go for a personal best just for fun.
Well, it's warm out here right now. It's going to be very, very tough to do that. But you're right. I mean, you're trying to get as much as you can out of that car. But again, with the gap that he has now that Silver has spun, it's almost up to 20 seconds, right? So it's almost take care of the equipment. I would assume there's probably somebody on the radio telling him that, hey, we're going back, and he's aware of this as well. So, with about 1.5 minutes left, the next time Schaefer comes by, would maybe see that one to go as he's coming out of turn number 10 now. So may do this one here. So I think the next time by may get that one to go.
Attention in the paddock. Attention to paddock. Race group number 2, Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 6. You're going to have a driver's meeting in the classroom starting at 4:15 p.m. That's about 5 minutes from now. Please start heading over there. Again, race group 2, Formula F, Formula V, and Formula 6. You are going to have a driver's meeting in the classroom starting in 5 minutes. Also, race group number 5, Big Bore Racers, please start heading to the grid. Your race is next. Big Bore Racers, race group 5, please head to the grid.
Yeah, David, next time we come by, you're going to see Chaz Schaefer. He is going to get that one to go, so we're going to finish right there at the time that we need to here. So he's going to get about he probably got about 5 laps in here since we went back to green here. So running pretty good times. Still not 113. 113 flat was his fastest, and then 113.9 last time by. So trying to get as much out of it as he can, but at this point, it's a matter of, as we've seen with the Rick Silver machine, take care of what you can take care of and get this race done.
Yeah, because you don't really want to throw away this race so late into it, leading as Schaefer, though, just came across the line. There he comes into the shot, coming down the hill. And again, here comes Fraley into the shot. So it's about a 6-second lead there between the two that Schaefer has over Fraley. So, and coming into turn 1 for the final time.
Yeah, neither driver really probably pushing. I mean, Schaefer went 114 that time, same as Jason Fraley. So again, these drivers, Rick Silver just now crossing the start-finish line after that spin. The driver who ran his fastest lap of the race on the last one, really this late into the session here, was Russell Straight in that Formula Enterprise 2, that 116.7. That was kind of on lap 9. So, Russell trying to get as much as he can out of this car as he didn't get on the other one. So, making up for it right here. So again, everybody going down there. There you see, and again, unfortunately, some of the cameras have, we believe, Android may be doing an update. So we think that they're kind of updating us. Not what we want to see here.
Just another sign that that the robots are taking over,
That
Brian.
is correct. They have decided they want to do an update completely as Chaz Schaefer now crosses the start-finish line to pick up the win here in our Group 4 in our big open wheel class here and also picks up the Formula Continental. Jason Fraley is going to pick up that prototype win in that number 142. Rick Silver is going to finish second in Formula Continental. Picking up the win in FE2 is going to be Russell Straight in this number 77, who is just now coming out of turn number 10, heading down across the start-finish line. So Russell Straight will be your last car across the start-finish line for this group.
Attention in the paddock. Final call to the grid for race group number 5. Big Bore Racers, please head to the grid. Big Bore Racers is your final call to the grid. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments. We're going to try to wake up our cameramen and women and thank some sponsors. When we come back, 2 more races here from Summit Point today. It is the 2026 SCCA U.S. Majors Tour. We'll be right back.
Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized and awarded full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland. Specializing in classic Italian sports cars from Ferrari, Lamborghini, ISO, and Bizzarini, Grand Touring's extensive experience ranges from pre-war to modern exotics, advising on all aspects of the classic car ownership experience, from service, restoration, and climate-controlled storage to sales and consignment. Grand Touring's focus is not just on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles, but making sure that the driving experience is equally as spectacular and authentic. For more information, send email to tom@grandtouring.com. Grand Touring, legends in motion.
Need it welded? Need it now? When things break at the track or out in the field, you don't have time to wait. You need precision. You need reliability. You need Rockman Metalworks. From high-performance race components to critical field repairs, Rockman delivers elite-level welding and fabrication with a research-driven approach that goes far beyond your average welder. This is precision work built to perform when it matters most. And here's the best part. They come to you. With full mobile service, Rockman Metalworks gets you back up and running fast so you can get back in the race. Conveniently located just 30 minutes from Summit Point, call them now at 209-751-9750. Rockman Metalworks. When it has to be right, right now.
The Spring Hill Suites Winchester is an all-suite property that features spacious suites, an indoor heated pool, complimentary hot buffet-style breakfast, a 24-hour fitness center, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Whether you're traveling in a group or flying solo, you'll find it easy to get comfortable in our spacious suites. We're conveniently located just off of Interstate 81 at exit 317 in a shopping center with many shops and dining options. Discount rooms are available. To book your suite today, call 540-431-3330.
17 Barron AM, bringing you all the classic hits.
Need a ride?
No. Okay. Taking you back to simpler times.
Hey, dog. Belmont Classic Cars, Belmont, Ohio.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their spec racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering Spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway. It is the 2026 SCCA U.S. Majors Tour presented by the Washington, D.C. region of the SCCA. I'm Greg, he's Brian, he's David. That's Spencer back behind me, who's making the best of what few cameras we still have up and running. I want to thank you all for joining us here this weekend. And David, we've got our big bore racers heading out on track now, the big GT cars, the American sedans, the ground pounders, as well as some of our touring cars. Why don't you run down the starting order?
Group number 5, my favorite group. We're going to find out why. Starting on pole, it's the Touring 1 86 of Joseph Gaudet from Manassas, Virginia, in his Chevy Corvette. Starting in second is the GT2, number 18, Corey Markovitz, and from Martinsburg, West Virginia, his Porsche 911.1 GT3 Cup car. Was supposed to start third. He did not make the call to the grid. It was supposed to be the GT1 161 of James Wilson from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, in his Lamborghini Super Trofeo Huracan Evo 2. Starting fourth, it's the Touring 2, number 2, a Chip Herr from Lidditz, Pennsylvania, in his Audi RS3 LMS TCR car. Starting fifth, it's the Touring 177, Timothy Rubright from Kutztown, Pennsylvania, in his Ford Mustang Boss 302. Starting sixth and first in STU, it was supposed to be the number 19 of Chip Herr. He is not going to be doing two cars at once on track in his Audi A4. Starting seventh, it is the STU number 70, Darren Trinkle, from Marshall, Virginia, in his BMW 325. Starting eighth in STU, it's number 40, John Weisberg from Webster, New York, in his BMW Z4. Starting ninth, it's the Touring 2, number 46, Big Al, Alan Phillips from Glassboro, New Jersey, in his Ford Mustang. Starting 10th in the Touring 3, number 4, it's Rob Hines from Arlington, Virginia, in his Nissan 350Z. Starting in 11th, it's number 22 American sedan car of Daniel Richardson from Durwood, Maryland, in his Chevy Camaro. Starting 12th, was supposed to be starting 12th. It's number 14 James Jost from New Ringgold, Pennsylvania. He will not make the call to the grid as he had an incident in qualifying. Starting 13th is Touring 2, number 62 Mike Herbert from Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, in his BMW M240i. Starting 14th, the Ace sedan number 32 Kelly Lubash from Stamford, Connecticut. And rounding out the field, it's Anthony Pacelli.
All right, as the field now heads down the front straight, green flag is in the air, and we're making our way down to turn 1 as we're racing once again here at Summit Point Raceway. Corey Markovitz to the outside in the GT2 class GT3 Cup car with the Chevy Corvette of Joseph Gaudet to the inside. The Porsche sweeps around the outside. So, Brian, so many stories here today. One, I was hoping to see once again the American Sedan Battle of the Champions, Danny Richardson and James Jost go at it. Camaro versus Mustang. Jost has had nothing but challenges this weekend, both in testing yesterday and also then in qualifying today with braking issues with those cars, or with that car. So we're not going to see him out here today. And then also, the other big question here was which car was Chip Herr, two-time national champion in STU. Which one was he going to run today? He could run the TCR car, which he took to second place at the runoffs this past year, which was an STU at the time, has been reclassed into Touring 2, or he could run the A4 that was his former World Challenge car that is all-wheel drive, which would probably be better in the wet tomorrow. And so, as David said, he took the TCR car.
Yeah, always something fun to see something like a TCR car out here. It's something that you really don't see a lot of, that modern race car. And I talked with Chip yesterday, and he laughed between his Audi A4 and his TCR car. He told me, he's like, every time he gets in this TCR, he feels like a little kid, just seeing that Audi steering wheel, and he thinks to himself, I have a TCR car here.
Attention in the paddock. Attention to paddock. Somebody here, not us, has lost a phone that is now being kept over at the Grid Shack. If you've just recently lost your cell phone, please head to the Grid Shack and claim it. I can tell you that, again, it's not one of our camera people.
Well, it's an Android phone, so it's probably going through an update. So.
Exactly. All right, as we jump back to the action here, as Corey Markovitz in his GT2 Porsche 911 Cup car, GT2 class, it's a GT3 Cup car, don't ask me to explain, is your leader right now. Gaudet leading the Touring 1 field that is split right now. We've got Chip Herr in that TCR machine between he and Tim Rubright in his Ford Mustang. John Weisberg, your leader in STU. Robbie Hines leading Touring 3 over Anthony Pacelli. Pacelli started at the back of the pack in that all-wheel drive Subaru.
Yeah.
He probably saw rain on the forecast for tomorrow.
And said, let me go get a few laps of warm-up here.
Exactly. He's just getting ready for tomorrow. That's going to be the battle, not in class, but the battle in of the all-wheel drive machines. Interesting note that when Chip Herr almost had his very first national championship back in 2022 at VIR, the 2.5 lap STU race. He was actually in Anthony Pacelli's Subaru, went from the very back of the field up to second in 2 laps. And I think that might be the same Subaru that Pacelli's behind the wheel of right now.
Could be, yeah. Obviously with a different paint scheme, because I think it was gray.
Gray at the time, yeah.
So it was funny, we laughed about Pacelli last minute entry. I don't even think he was on property probably an hour ago, honestly. I mean, I remember, I think it was about 2 groups ago, I remember I looked out towards the paddock and I just saw a glimpse of that car go rolling by. It's like, wait a second, what's that car doing here? And
he's probably putting a new turbocharger in that car an hour and a half ago, and just to bring it back out. All right, as we finish now lap number 3, and it is Corey Markovitz, your leader. I'll tell you, Joseph Gaudet in that Touring 1 Corvette, he's keeping Markovitz honest right now. We saw Markovitz bring this GT3 Cup car out a couple of weeks ago for the regional race here, where he was running away the fastest driver on course. But Gaudet, who we typically see here at Summit now, he used to be a regular for the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series events, but we've seen him primarily for the majors here each year. Really push that car. You can see where the rear end starts to walk out on a little bit on him as he tries to put the torque down at turn 5.
Yeah, I mean, really good battle here. Again, not any of these cars are really not in class, although, Timothy Rubright, who we've seen here many times. Haven't seen him here in a couple years. I think he may have run last year here in the majors as well, but between Markovitz, Gaudet, Herr, and Rubright, they're kind of spaced out a little bit, but they're actually not too far apart. They're starting to reel each other in, Greg.
Yeah, and David, I just got a note from James Candelaria, who won gold in Touring 1 at the runoffs this past year. And he reminded me that Joseph Gaudet's had a 3-year layoff. And so this is his first event back. As we see he and Markovitz now coming under braking, going in. Actually, that's
Timothy Rubright making the move. Yeah,
on Chip Herr.
Yeah. Again, they've been kind of nose to tail there the last couple of laps, back and forth. And then Chip decided to let him go there going down into turn 1. Could have thought better, but again, Chip in T2, Timothy in T1, allow him to go around and maybe with the opportunity to catch Joseph Gaudet, because that's going to be the battle in T1.
So it's going to be fun to see what Chip Herr does in that front-wheel drive TCR car, because in these kind of tight, twisty sections, they're able to put the power down so much better than those rear-wheel drive, Mustangs and everything. And if you've watched IMSA, Lime Rock, it was always the TCR cars could do better than the GT4 cars there because of how tight and twisty it is and how good they lay the power down coming off corners.
Yeah. And again, a lot of those cars, you're starting to see a lot of those start to come into the class and start to, I think they were doing STU last year, Greg, and then they all kind of moved out, and now I think they're all had to get moved into T2 in certain aspects of it. So, again, a lot of those TCR cars coming back into the SCCA fold where you didn't see them for a while.
Yeah, I would like to see a little more out here, just because, again, I've always loved those TCR cars. They're such really cool touring cars and everything, and I think, with this first gen, as we get some of those newer ones that come in, you see some of the older models start coming here to the SCCA, and such as this one that Chip bought. Honestly, I think it was last fall he bought.
Yeah, indeed. He bought this car just before the runoffs last year. He had gone, and at the time he had qualified his A4 Audi, the World Challenge car, because, they were in the same class. And so as long as he ran that at the qualifying races, he was open to run this TCR car when they got to the runoffs. And I think the gauntlet was somewhat thrown open. Petey Cunningham brought out his FK8 Honda Civic Type R TCR machine, and Chip really felt that the Audi would probably be the best chance of winning there compared to bringing out the car that he had won 2 national championships in previously. And he kept Petey very honest. I mean, it was an amazing race to watch these two machines go.
I'll tell you what, if you haven't watched it, you need to go tonight and watch that race, the STU Runoffs race from last fall. I mean, it was incredible. Him and Cunningham, it was basically, if you grew up watching the old Speed World Challenge days, you were basically getting a little throwback to that, which is how good they were throwing these touring cars, these TCR cars around Road America.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that on the SCCA official YouTube channel. Don't turn away now. Stay here with us.
Tonight. That's why he said tonight.
I said tonight. I had to make sure to clarify that.
I know. All right, so drivers not taking the green today. The Lamborghini Super Trofeo out of Philadelphia, driven by James Wilson. Of course, Chip Herr II in his Audi A4. We're going to likely see that car tomorrow as they are forecasting some rain. And then, as we mentioned, James Jost, who was our 2021 SCCA American Sedan National Champion. He did not take the green. Hopefully we'll see that car out tomorrow. But given what I heard about his adventures in qualifying today, that likely is not going to be the chance.
Well, maybe he was taking the old map, right, from down in turn
before
5.
Before they put in this section of the course.
Correct.
Yes.
Before they put in the the carousel and everything right here. So he ended up going through there.
Attention in the paddock. Attention in the paddock. First call to the grid for race group number 6, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers, please head to the grid.
Some of our camera guys have woken back
They've woken back up.
Say here, we got a side-by-side battle for the STU lead. John Weisberg and at Z4 going to move into the inside at Darren Treacle. And Treacle maybe was trying to go for the over-under, though. Couldn't get it. And Weisberg, though, gets him off the corner, and he's going to move out in front. So move Weisberg now back up to the STU lead.
Well, no, actually not
Treacle.
so quick. That's actually Darren Treacle that went by John Weisberg.
Yep.
Going through there, coming out of turn number 1. So Darren Treacle in that BMW 325 out of Marshall, Virginia. He's actually going to take that lead right now. But you're right, David. Don't count John Weisberg out. John's a nice wily veteran. John will let Darren jump out in there.
Tons of pro racing experience, and John, I don't want to say he's a lifer in STU, but he has run the class for many years. He brought this BMW Z4 out the very first time, I believe 2 years ago at Watkins Glen International, and it has been a long, difficult development cycle with this car. Had a good run at Virginia International Raceway just a few weeks ago for the Hoosier Racing Tire SCCA Super Tour. But we'll see here. Again, he's still trying to work out the niggles here. Darren Treacle, as we talked about earlier, this is the first time he's had this car out, well, for a Super Tour race or a Majors race. I think since June of last year. He did run a few weeks ago with the car at the Hoosier Super Tour. And Treacle almost took the win in 2020. Is it 2023? Yes, 2023 at Virginia International Raceway. That's another race to watch. That was a race that Chip won and came from the very back of the pack to the front.
Yeah, ran into the guardrail coming out of turn number 3
on the opening lap.
The opening lap, drove all the way back. I think you had Mark Liller involved in that as well.
That is a race indeed that you would want to watch after today's broadcast is done. That because it was Mark Liller almost had a chance to win. Actually, Mark Liller he had gold medal written all over the front of his Neon, his Dodge Neon SRT4. Darren Treacle had a good chance to win. The Honda CRX of Joe Moser had a chance to win, and Chip Herr, with last lap heroics. And here we go, is Herr now gets around the Chevy Camaro of that's Kelly Lubosch in the number 32 machine to put Lubosch a lap down.
Yeah, had to make a pretty evasive action to get back in line there. He had gone around, kind of going around Lubosch down the front stretch. Lubosch got a little bit extra power there, I guess, and Chip kind of struggled to get back in front of him. Once he did, really had to make that evasive action on entry into turn one. I'm sure that upset that car. That's going to drop him even further back to Timothy Rubright. And that's really, again, not a battle for class, but a battle for on the position. And I know Chip wanting to get right back up there with Rubright. But understands that's a T1 car versus a T2 car. So, again, if there's anybody that understands when to race, when not to race, it is that driver in that number 2 machine. Again, getting a couple calls on the radio now. We'll see what that call is, David.
All right, Anthony Pacelli and his Subaru might be without the wet weather here as he's trying to drift through turn 3 and head down the chute.
It's a Subaru. You can run over the grass. That's not a big deal.
David, it was funny. I heard a car coming out of turn 10 as I've got my head buried in stats and everything here at the computer, and it sounded like a V8 that was missing a cylinder. And then I go, oh, no, actually, that's the flat 4 Subaru. Because, it had a V8 rumble to it, but it just sounded, I don't know, off by about 5 cylinders.
Oh, guys, we got a car that has definitely gone off in turn 1 with
and that's the Pacelli car.
And that is, he got on the brakes there right around the 400-foot mark, and that car did not slow down, and he definitely made a left-hand turn.
He is now, should we have him check on our turn 1 camera? Because he's right behind it right now, out on the skid pad.
So it
looks like he's going to take the long way around between turns 1 and turns 2. There it is.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was just going to say, Spencer, if we stayed on that camera for a moment, we'd probably see the Subaru rejoin.
Got the lights on for safety.
Yeah, and there he is. Let's see what he is. He's going to stay out there, Brian. If he's got braking issues, well, we'll know about it at the bottom of the hill here, coming down into turn 5.
I was going to say he went off driver's left, went around the skid pad, went around the trees, came all the way back on, and then turned around and came out that access road there as well. So.
Oof. Yeah, that you can see the car moving around there. The car definitely doesn't look happy. I was going to say, we already knew Mark Walthu took an extra quarter of a mile earlier today.
Yeah.
And
that's an extra 0.6 of a mile going all the way around.
Yeah, exactly. As Anthony Pacelli was almost back in Virginia before he came back out on track.
So he just probably wanted to take a little scenic route, take a little trip through the woods there.
It's good thing tax day was on Wednesday. Otherwise, he'd have to be filing 2 1040s.
2 state taxes there. It was just odd because he put that brake on and as he goes by the
it looked like it didn't do anything. Well, let's see what happens now as he comes down in the 1. He's staying all the way to the inside. Also,
there it is, and he got a lot of. He's got a brake problem on that left rear or on that left front, and he saw Corey Markovitz coming up on him. Right here, really slowed down. He's more than likely probably going to pit this time, or he's going to try to do everything he can to finish. Because he's already passed the halfway in that T3 machine. He's not going to catch Rob Hines.
No.
At all. Rob Hines leading that T3 class in that Nissan 350. But again, trying to do everything he can to get that car home, but went all the way around and came back, and it was kind of like, I guess maybe he thought if he took some time to get some air there. You can see it now. It's definitely in the left front, David. Definitely got a left front braking issue because he smoked the left front tire going down in turn number 5, and that's even at half speed.
Yeah, literally just took the words right out of my mouth there as I saw that. So we'll see if he decides to keep going. So it looks like he is slowing down a lot now. So this might be race over for Pacelli with just about 3 laps to go now.
We talk about discretion being the better part of valor, and he's keeping the car to the inside there, so it looks like he is going to bring the car in. As Corey Markovitz crosses the start-finish line, 2 laps remaining. Brian, let's make another call for our next group. Attention in the paddock. Second call to the grid for race group 6, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers, please head to the grid. Your race is next. And we did get confirmation that Anthony Pacelli has brought his Subaru down the pit lane. His race is now done.
Yeah. Again, I'm sure with that problem, I'm sure that left front has probably got several flat spots on it going through there because he's coming down pit lane very, very slow. So doing everything he can to make sure he can make that right-hand turn down at the end of pit road. But again, we've got still some racing to go here. Corey Markovitz, 2 to go. Next time by, he'll be receiving that 1 to go. Kind of going through here. Let's do a little recap if we can here, gentlemen. Leading in our American stand, Daniel Richardson in that 22 over Kelly Lubach. Again, we talked about James Jones not making the call to the green. In GT1, James Wilson in that Lamborghini Super Trofeo did not come out as well. In T2, Chip Hurd leading in that number 2 over Alan Phillips in second, and then Mike Herbert in the 62 is in third. In STU, we're still seeing that battle with Darren Trinkle in the 70 machine over John Weisberg in that number 40 machine. And in T1, Joseph Gaudette in that 86 Chevrolet Corvette, leading Timothy Rubright in that number 77 Ford Mustang. Again, talked about T3, Rob Hines in that number 4 machine leading over Anthony Pacelli, who has called it a day and is back behind the wall, back into the paddock. And in GT2, and our overall leader, Corey Markovitz, is your leader right there, coming up out of turn number 3, heading down into the chute, turn number 4. So again, Corey Markovitz working the last lap of this session for this first race of the weekend for our big boy group.
All right, we got joining us. We heard from her a couple of weeks ago at the regional race, the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series race. Turn 5, Cheryl checking in. Cheryl, where are you now? Down in Florida, if I remember correctly, but one of our Turn 5 regulars. Actually, you know what? I thought I saw Cheryl when I was going and urging our camera people to to up their game this afternoon. I thought I saw Cheryl down there, and hopefully so. Also, another great person joining in as the checkered flag now flies for Corey Markovitz, taking the win in GT2 and takes the overall win. Joseph Gaudette coming across the line. He's going to finish up with the win in Touring 1, about 6 seconds back from Markovitz. But Heather Clark, one of our flaggers here this weekend, and she said that we sound much better at the PA system here at Summit Point than at Virginia International Raceway. So that's what happens when we crank it up to 11 around here. So I want to thank her for coming out. And look at this. This is interesting. Sitting at the top of the pit lane, trying to get what we call a hardship lap in, is Mike Kelly, who was not able to take the green earlier today for the first race of the day. Looks like they've gotten that car hopefully fixed, and they're going to do a test to make sure that everything is ready to go for first thing tomorrow morning. But great run here in Big Bore. Daniel Richardson taking the win over Kelly Lubach in American Sedan. Chip Herr over Alan Phillips and Mike Herbert in T2. Darren Treacle taking the win over John Weisberg.
I'm not sure why Mike Herbert came down the pit lane.
Yeah.
And then went out to take the checkered flag across the start.
Maybe he thought it was like an endurance race, but he finishes. He and Alan Phillips were separated by at the line, maybe a foot. The difference is Herbert was 3 laps down.
Yeah, I was going to say, he did come down the pit lane and then went back out and take the.
All right.
There.
And of course, Rob Hines taking the win over Anthony Pacelli. All right, so that's going to wrap things up for our Big Bore race. Let's make a final call to the grid for our next group. Attention in the paddock. Final call for race group 6, Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. Please head to the grid. Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 racers, please head to the grid. Cheryl says she's in North Carolina, by the way. Thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate that. We're going to take a quick break as I try to plan my travel back to North Carolina.
I'm going to follow you. I'm going to go down Tuesday.
I was going to say, I figure we're both going to be down there. But we've got one more race, 15 more laps of action here at Summit Point today. But we're going to do it all again tomorrow. So let's take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few moments at Summit Point.
Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized and awarded full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland. Specializing in classic Italian sports cars from Ferrari, Lamborghini, ISO, and Bizzarini, Grand Touring's extensive experience ranges from pre-war to modern exotics, advising on all aspects of the classic car ownership experience, from service, restoration, and climate-controlled storage to sales and consignment. Grand Touring's focus is not just on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles, but making sure that the driving experience is equally as spectacular and authentic. For more information, send email to tom@grandtouring.com. Grand Touring, legends in motion.
Need it welded? Need it now? When things break at the track or out in the field, you don't have time to wait. You need precision. You need reliability. You need Rockman Metalworks. From high-performance race components to critical field repairs, Rockman delivers elite-level welding and fabrication with a research-driven approach that goes far beyond your average welder. This is precision work built to perform when it matters most. And here's the best part. They come to you. With full mobile service, Rockman Metalworks gets you back up and running fast so you can get back in the race. Conveniently located just 30 minutes from Summit Point, call them now at 209-751-9750. Rockman Metalworks. When it has to be right, right now.
The Spring Hill Suites Winchester is an all-suite property that features spacious suites, an indoor heated pool, complimentary hot buffet-style breakfast, a 24-hour fitness center, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Whether you're traveling in a group or flying solo, you'll find it easy to get comfortable in our spacious suites. We're conveniently located just off of Interstate 81 at exit 317 in a shopping center with many shops and dining options. Discount rooms are available. To book your suite today, call 540-431-3330.
Baron AEM, bringing you all the classic hits.
Need a ride?
No. Okay. Taking you back to simpler times.
Hey, dog. Belmont Classic Cars, Belmont, Ohio.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their Spec Racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering Spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@wnaracing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
Welcome back to Summit Point Raceway. It is the 2026 SCCA U.S. Majors Tour, the very first stop on the Majors Tour here in the Northeast Division, as we have been all day. I'm still Greg, he's still Brian, he's still David. Spencer, I'm not sure if he's the same after dealing with all our camera problems today, but we are getting ready, gentlemen, for our very last race of the day. It is Spec Racer Ford Gen 3, as we've got Joelle Pence, I believe, is our splitter today. There she is. She's waving the Mickey Mouse hands or getting ready. There it is. See, look at the big Mickey Mouse hands. That's how we know it's Joelle.
I think she just flipped you off with that Mickey Mouse
That could
hand.
very well be. Well, she only had 4 fingers which should do it. Technically, no middle finger.
Well, that's true. That is a good point. She gave you the thumb.
Exactly. All right. As our drivers are heading out on track, let's run down the starting order. Starting on pole today, driving the number 55 Surf Shop Spec Race Support Gen 3 from Boyd's, Maryland, Sam Schechter. Jeffrey Lehner from driving the Johnstown Autoports machine from Gloversville, New York, representing the Mahoning Valley region, is starting on the outside of the front row. Michael Perotti from Yorktown Heights, New York, in the Perotti Fitness entry will start third, with Richard Herman, paging Mr. Herman, starting fourth. He is out of Wayne, Pennsylvania, representing the Washington, D.C. region. Jeffrey Valentino will start sixth today. He's out of Cortland Manor, New York, with Theo Pepes starting seventh. Theo is driving the number 27 machine. He hails from Clifton, New Jersey, represents the northern New Jersey region. The Susquehanna region's Jared Odrick out of Lebanon, Pennsylvania, will start eighth. I think this is Jared's very first major start in a Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 car. He, of course, is a former GT2 national champion. Mike Anderson will start ninth. He's in the number 15 machine. He's from Green Pond, New Jersey. Framingham, Massachusetts, Tom Kirchman making his second start of the day. We saw him earlier in Spec Miata. Now he's in Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. He starts that. Tom Riley in the track consulting entry, representing the New England region, will start 11th, with J. Mark Wendling in the Doggone Racing number 3 car. He starts 12th. Nicky Ruman Skinner in the McNichols Ruman Racing entry out of Washington, D.C. will start lucky 13th, with Jeff Harrell driving the number 88 Spec Racer 4 Gen 3. He is out of Beaver, Pennsylvania, representing the Steel Cities region. He starts 14th. Starting 15th, Kenneth Riley in the Motion Dynamics car. He's out of New Canaan, Connecticut, representing the New England region. He is starting 15th, with Ken Brumder out of Winchester, Virginia, starting 16th, and then rounding out the 7-car field in the Surf Shop Spec Racer 4 Gen 3, the number 67 car out of Fogelsville, Pennsylvania, representing the Philadelphia region. It's Ron Rice. As the lights are out now on the pace car, and bringing the field up the hill out of turn 8 and underneath the bridge. And the field's still a little strung out, Brian, but they've got some time to tighten back up.
Yeah, strung out a little bit in the back there.
That's how I feel all today, all strung out.
Strung out in the back?
Yeah, just like Elvis.
Yeah.
All right, it's a pace car now on the pit lane, turning the field over to the light blue, number 55, Surf Shop entry of Sam Schechter, Jeffrey Lehner in the Johnstown Auto Parts, number 71, the orange car, to the outside. Starter looks over the field, and green flag is in the air, and almost immediately, we've got the number 27 of Theo Pepes moving over driver's right. Try to make a run down the inside on the front 3 rows, as he now finds nowhere really for him to go. He slots in again right back behind John Ryan as they come under braking it. Oh, look at that. As Jeffrey Lehner gets held all the way to the outside. There's contact. The 88 car, that's Jeff Harold now, off in the grass on the outside of turn number 1, just before the gravel trap. Didn't see who else he had contact with there, but it was definitely under braking as he lost that left front nose.
Yeah, they all started to go 3 wide down into turn number 1, and then everybody in the middle of that pack had to check up really, really hard to try to get through the center of that turn, as now we got some heavy lockup from Theo Pepes in that 27 machine. Both of those front tires, David, they got locked up going into turn 5, but they were 3 wide into 1, and I don't believe the 88 had really anywhere to go, Jeff Harold, and they just got stacked up in front of him with some contact.
Yeah, definitely a little chaotic down there, turn number 1, Greg. It looks like we start to get through lap, we get to start single filing out, and looks like someone's down at turn number 1.
Well, that's the 88 car, so he pulled off back there, went around to get way out of the way as to not do anything.
Yeah, and that's great, because you notice the yellow flag, the local caution down at turn 1, has been withdrawn. They've got the debris flag out for that piece of the nose that's sitting on the track surface. And as our racers now come down into turn 1, and it is Sam Schechter and Michael Perotti, who were almost neck and neck during the first qualifying session today. All of those racers staying very clear of that nose piece.
So we do know now. It looks like that may have been the 3 of Mark J. Mark Wendling that the 88 hit, because the left side of the number 3 right there
we
in
can
your
see it's
screen,
kind of sticking up in the air.
It's kind of way up in the air there. That's going to definitely be an aero disadvantage. So
big lockup now from Jeffrey Lehner in the orange number 71 car. Came at the right time, though, David. Got that rear lockup. It kind of pitched the rear end around. He was able to kind of straight line the turn 5.
Yeah, I don't know how he saved that one. That car was all over the place when he went down turn number 5 there, maybe trying to throw it up the inside of Vittori there. But, I mean, this is Sam Schechter, though, running out in front of his car, kicks up some of the dirt there, and basically throws up a big dust cloud.
I think that might have been John Ryan in the 87 car, ended up kicking up a little bit of dirt. And look at this fight. Jared Odrick now, as they come through turn 10 with Nicky Ruman Skinner, as they were going into turn 10. And Jared, I think, knows this because he actually got his start here racing in Spec Miata. So he knows that you need to carry speed and momentum through turn 10. You know, the last couple of times we've seen him race here, he was in a 911 GT3 car.
Yeah.
And, that he could conceivably torque his way out and dig out of a corner like that. You can't do that at Spec Racer Ford, as they now once again.
That was Pepe's and Lerner right there. They got side to side coming out of turn 3, and David, we were talking about that, trying to use that outside lane. Pepe's just didn't give that 71 machine any room there to come back onto the track when he got that far wide out, and that car happened to be there through the gravel. That 71 went.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to lose a few spots here after that. So he's going to lose about probably 3 spots here and move Pepis, though, now up into that 3rd spot. He didn't have really good qualifying session. Started a little deeper in the field, I believe in 9th. Just kind of really a little not like Pepis. We see him up qualified at the front a lot of times.
Yeah.
All right, as our leaders come onto the front straight and complete lap number 3, it's Schechter and Perotti who have now started at least a little bit here to check out from the rest of the field. Theo Pepes now, who had that run-in with our outside pole sitter, Jeffrey Lehner, just a few moments ago in 3, is now running in 3rd, but almost 2 seconds back from the leaders. He's got Jeffrey Valentino. Is that a good run so far? Valentino started 6th, now up 2 positions to 4th. Very, very close behind.
Got a side-by-side battle for the lead here. We're going to turn 3. Schechter, though, had to defend that kind of, inside there to Perotti. So Perotti now really starting to give the pressure now to Schechter. As Schechter, when they went down turn number 1 last time, he had to kind of cover that inside there. And then kind of almost another side-by-side battle for 3 here in between Valentino and Pepes.
Yeah, move Valentino now ahead of Theo Pepes into that 3rd position, and that number 68 machine right there. Theo now really having to battle with Richard Herman, kind of hold him off there. He's going to drop back just a little bit more, but right now, move that 68 is now that 68 coming through turn number 9, Greg. Tell you what, that front end got so loose, he had to do everything he can to hold on to that car. Let's see whether or not Pepes and Herman are going to be able to run him down coming into turn number 10. But that car just got completely sideways.
Yeah, it's starting to turn into an understeering pig there as they come out of the final corner. He moves over just a little bit to driver's right to defend, and it may not have been enough. Also now, Mike Anderson, your fastest racer on track, as Jeffrey Lehner tries to make up some positions. Lehner now alongside the 0 of Herman gets the pass made, so move Lehner now back up in the 5th position. But again, he's got a bit to go. He's got about 3 car lengths up to Theo Pepes and Jeffrey Valentino that he's got to worry about. And he's got Anderson and Ryan and Odrick directly behind him.
Yeah. I mean, he was up there into that third and 4th positions earlier. Like I said before, we had that side-to-side contact coming up into turn number 3. So now that he's gathered himself back together, gets back around Richard Herman in that 71. So again, track really getting greasy through here. You can tell these cars are kind of hateful from a handling perspective, Greg, as this day has gone on, especially in here. Sam Schechter's been kind of the dominant, car here in this racetrack, in this group. pretty much last year and so far early on this year. But Perotti giving him one heck of a battle.
Yeah, and I think part of this, David, is when these racers went out for their second qualifying session. They had the 2 qualifying sessions. They were the first group out, or the last group out before our racing started here. It was quite a bit cooler than it is now, as Michael Perotti, who had just completed running the fastest lap of the race, gets around Sam Schechter. Yeah. And this is the first lap I've seen Sam Schechter not lead here at Summit in this 2026 season. He was racing here a few weeks ago for the regional race where he just owned Spec Racer 4 Gen 3, but again, we're up now to almost 85 degrees. I think we're about 10 degrees warmer than when these racers finished up their last qualifying session.
And we talked about earlier, as you said, Brian, as we get later in this day, as it gets hotter on track, how is your car going to handle? You have to kind of keep up with that. You have to, as the weather gets warmer, your car's going to really kind of start going away.
So also think about this, right? So you have your big bore group, right? You have your heavier cars. They're out before. It's a different tire compound. Those cars at the end, they were slip sliding around as well. That adds a little bit, especially for these Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 cars to come out here. The track totally changes, within that time frame. As we come out of turn number 10 right now, we're still going to go side by side. Sam Schechter, Michael Perotti. Tell you what, Greg, they don't want to give any room right now.
No.
And what that's going to end up doing, that's going to allow Jeff Valentino to start making his move to come in. We still got plenty of time in this race if these guys are going to go side by side every lap coming out of time.
Well, I'll tell you, last time by Valentino, he just turned in as fast as his personal best here in the race, but it was still almost 0.4 of a second, David, off what our 2 leaders here are doing, even as they're going side by side down the front straight. And if it continues that way, maybe at this point, Schechter and Perotti will likely have crew telling them exactly what their gaps are back to Valentino and Jeff Lehner. Maybe they're just not worried about it, and they're just going to go and attack and attack and attack as this race goes on, as we've got 9 laps remaining.
Yeah, this is going to be really fun to see how this battle plays out. It's kind of that spec racing, you kind of don't want to hold each other up and kind of make each other fall back, but it looks like, though, they start to get a little more spread out. So kind of the battle has dissipated a little bit, though, but with still 9 laps to go, there is still a long way to go in this race.
I want to thank Carl Johnson, who's always one of our biggest fans and biggest supporters. Telling you when I said I was down, giving our cameramen down in the carousel the business that it was actually longtime Turn 5 crew, Diane and Eric, who were down there, who offered me some water while I was trying my best here. As our leaders once again, side by side, Sam Schechter retaking the point. And you notice here, even though they're under braking, that inside driver is got position. They're not really fighting, at least in the 1. Now, however, Sam Schechter obviously getting a little defensive, worried that Michael Perotti might try to sneak underneath him going into 3.
Well, kind of looking at these times all the way through, and I'm looking at Sam Schechter's lap by lap. Very, very consistent. Doesn't look like he moves around very, very much, along with Michael in that 31 machine. Those are 2 cars that, even though they're swapping positions basically every lap, especially coming out of 10, going down into turn 1, the times are almost very, very consistent. So it's a matter of being smooth, right? Smooth is faster, definitely in these types of race cars. So again, whether or not you give up that lead, don't panic, because you're both going to be smooth enough. You're going to get it if you're getting a good run out of turn number 10.
All right, as they come under the bridge and onto the front straight. So Jeffrey Lehner now, who started on the outside of the front row, now turns in his personal best, and he now, I think, firmly in the draft, certainly, of Jeffrey Valentino directly ahead, and now takes a quick look to the inside, drifts very much to the inside. Let's see if Valentino can come back against Lehner now with an over-under coming out of 2. No, he cannot get that done. So as our leaders Schechter and Perotti battle it out, Jeffrey Lehner now moves back up into 3rd. The problem for him is we've got 7 laps remaining. He's still almost 2.5 seconds back from the leaders.
Yeah.
He's got to now pick up the pace a little.
Yeah, Lehner shut the door right there on Valentino going into the middle of turn one, and Valentino had to get on the brakes. If not, he would have probably taken out the rear, deck of that number 71 machine. So again, thinking better of it, not pushing the issue here on a Saturday, working, and now you can see Lehner starting to move away a little bit, and that's a product of getting on that brake, Greg. Again, these momentum cars, it's going to take him another lap to try to suck right back up there.
All right, another change of position. We just saw it happen before they got to turn 5 as Theo Pepes in the blue number 27 gets around Richard Herman in the 0 car. And as they do, Herman tried to go as deep as possible into turn 5, and it really hurt his drive out of that very slow corner. And it gives up the position a little bit further back. Mike Anderson now in 7th, John Ryan, Jared Odrick, and then Tom Kirchman running in 10th. I'm fairly certain that Tom Kirchman, he just does something. He finds himself in 10th position. That's where he spent the Spec Miata race as well.
The Iron Man of 10th.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, guys, looking at time, Sam Schechter just set the best race time at a 1:21.016. Still it's still 7/10 off from the qualifying time that was set in the qualifying one this morning, which it was probably about 10 o'clock when they went out, a lot cooler temperatures. So still the late in this race with 9 laps in, setting the fastest overall lap. What is Schechter saving for the end?
Well, if you go a little deeper, Perotti was only 5/100ths, so actually 45/100ths off of what Schechter just turned in. I mean, that you can see that there, where they are just either nose to tail or side by side almost around the entire course. Again, I think the big point here is that they were still about a 10th faster. We've got a car off.
I believe that may have been Theo Pepes that went off.
Yeah, indeed.
Let's see, or that's Herman.
I think that's the Herman.
Yep, that's the Herman. Yep, 0 coming out of turn number 9.
And so he recovers the car, doesn't get into the wall there on the outside of turn 8, which is so common to see happen, David. And he gets the car straightened up, but loses not only a lot of ground to Theo Pepes, but he loses a position to Mike Anderson as well. Drops him now back into 7th.
And guys, we're seeing the debris flag down there again, and it's not for that big bump that came off down on the first lap. Something else has come off down there that they're giving down in there. It doesn't seem to be very, very big. As Valentino goes 2 wheels off there, coming up out of turn number 3, but just something else is down there as well. So these drivers not only know that front cover is over onto the left, but now there's something else that they have to navigate around coming through turns 1 and turn 2.
Yeah, Greg, I want to go back to your point with turn number 8 here. And Herman, I think, I'd rather lose 1 or 2 spots, especially coming off of this corner where you kind of go off the curb, just past the curb here. There's that divot in the dirt from where everybody hits, and it can really pull you and either throw you to the inside or the outside. So I would rather lose 1 or 2 spots and maybe wreck the car.
To run a couple more laps and make those positions back. Absolutely here. But you see, as he's dropped back, and he's now under attack, is Herman from John Ryan in the 87 car. And Herman, Herman doesn't have Ryan stick out. Ryan's in the white 87 right there, final car in the line. And Ryan, at least for the time being, I think kind of content where he is as we are working now lap number 12 of 15.
We talked about fast times in Schechter. The fastest lap has now been reset to a 1:20.9 by Michael Perotti that last time around on lap 11. So this battle, though, time's still coming down here late in this race, very surprisingly, honestly. Especially with how hard Perotti and Schechter were battling each other in the kind of beginning and middle of this race.
Well, that's just it. I don't really think Sam Schechter was really battling him, because every time they come out of turn 10 and came across the start-finish line, if you look at the scoring pylon that I have here on that you can go in and see, Sam Schechter has led every single lap coming through there. So again, I don't think he's pushing the issue. He's running the time of his car, and he's opened up a little bit of a gap even when Michael ran, that 129.9. Now Sam Schechter goes 129.9 as well, the exact same time.
Yeah.
He's just being consistent.
Yeah, in the end, David, I think certainly Perotti's been able to make passes, get the passes done going down into turn one. But to Brian's point, almost every single lap, the car leading coming out of turn 10, out of the final corner, has been Sam Schechter, and Perotti hasn't been able to get it even up to his nose by the time they get to the start-finish line.
Yeah, exactly that. But Perotti, though, let's see what he can do. Just, keep it consistent here, try to stay behind Schechter, and maybe, just maybe, I don't know, but he might be trying to save it for the end, because, again, that last lap, that's the important lap here and get the checker flag, so save it to the end, baby. Just kind of pull something out of the bag of tricks and save it for that last lap.
Yeah, you don't have to lead the first 14, but you need to lead the lap 15. That's how you pick up a win. At least that's what they tell me.
All right, so as we've got 3 laps to go, why don't we talk, Brian, a little bit about what we've got coming up tomorrow, as, of course, we're going to be bringing you more coverage. There we go. Let's bring that one up. Coverage starts tomorrow at 8:40 I was about to say 8:40 p.m. I believe 8:40 8:40 a.m. And it is feature race day here at Summit Point. I know we've got listed that it is 25 laps or 50 minutes for all of our race groups. We've found that there's a little bit of an update for our small open wheel group, race group 2. They're going to have a little bit shorter race, and nothing big to talk about there other than our racers didn't think they could actually make 25 laps on a tank of fuel. So their races, I think, are going to be 21 laps. Or their race is going to be 21 laps. But definitely make sure you join us tomorrow morning as we conclude our coverage from Summit Point Raceway and the 2026 U.S. Majors Tour.
Yeah, we were talking about, kind of the overall leader there again. Perotti went even faster that time, gentlemen, and he got up to the side of the door going down into turn 1, but Sam just kind of held his line. Again, that's about being consistent with a lot of laps here. I'm not sure how many laps Michael has around this racetrack. If it's not very many, he's doing very well to hold on to Sam. As we talked about, Sam pretty much dominant the last 2 seasons in that SRF Gen 3 car here at Summit Point. But again, Sam opening up by about a car length and a half as they come out of turn number 10 and start down the start-finish line. They'll be working their last lap right here, so it'll be 1 to go. This is where Michael's really going to have to put that lap together, gentlemen, because the back half of this, that's where Sam Schechter's been consistent.
Yeah, and this time around, notable, David, is that Perotti, wasn't able to pull up alongside Sam Schechter, wasn't able to affect the pass. Sam Schechter held the position, and we've seen where Schechter has been quite a bit stronger down at the bottom half of the course. Once they get through this section, come down through the chute into the carousel where things tighten up and where you need to be able to just gradually feed in more throttle. This is starting right here is where Schechter starts to actually gap Perotti a little bit.
And we saw that too with Perotti. He got a little bit deeper on the brakes going to turn number 5, but was not able to get up beside him or even behind him. And Schechter now, he starts to open that gap now to about, again, he opens it back up to about a car length and a half as they come out of turn number 8 here.
All right, as they come up the hill, they're going to come up on some slower traffic. Don't know if that's going to affect them coming into turn 10. I think they're far enough back, although Schechter may have had to check up maybe a little bit more than he typically would coming into turn 10. And as they come to the line, taking the win in Spec Racer 4 Gen 3 is Sam Schechter. And this was an interesting choice here by Michael Perotti. He chose to try to draft off of that slower car, Brian, and in doing so, he was so far over driver's left, he couldn't move all the way over to driver's right to time a pass. And he probably should have just squared up the exit and tried to come underneath our winner today in Spec Racer 4, Sam Schechter. Jeffrey Lehner works his way back up to 3rd. Great recovery run from him after falling all the way back as far as 7th. Jeffrey Valentino will finish just off the podium at 4th. Theo Pepe's 5th. Mike Anderson will finish 6th. John Ryan, 7th. Richard Herman will finish 8th. Jared Odrick will finish 9th. And if you had to guess, David, who finished 10th, who would it be?
Thomas Kirchman.
There you go, Tom Kirchman, rounding out your top 10. Hey, we could have just looked right on the screen there. All right, so that's going to wrap things up from the first day of action here at Summit Point Raceway, the 2026 SCCA U.S. Majors Tour, the first U.S. Majors event here in the Northeast Division. Yeah, we're going to be starting it up bright and early tomorrow morning. I believe it's 8:40 a.m. Don't quote me. Actually, let's take a look and see here. Now I can't remember if it's 8:30 or 8:40, but I guarantee you we will be back.
I believe it was 8:40, so
Yeah.
I think I'm going to put money on it.
I've got the sheet right in front of me. I should actually be looking at this. It's right here. We are going on at 8:40 a.m. tomorrow morning. There we go. I actually have all the information.
You need a wake-up call tomorrow now, obviously?
Yes. Yeah. Can somebody please give me a wake-up call at, I don't know, about 8:15? There we go. So for Brian Donati, for David Lance, of course, for Spencer Gaynor, who's keeping all of our cameramen in line here today, I'm Greg Ginsburg. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning, 8:40 a.m. from Summit Point. Thanks so much for joining us here today.
At OG Racing, when you are shopping on our website, when we say in stock, this is what we mean by in stock. Seats and seat bases, brakes, harnesses and restraints, shoes, suits, and steering, helmets, gloves, and undergarments, fire suppression, and so much more. Shipping directly to you from our conveniently located Sterling, Virginia warehouse with thousands of in-stock items.
Grand Touring Enterprises is an internationally recognized and awarded full-service classic automotive facility located in Frederick, Maryland, specializing in classic Italian sports cars from Ferrari, Lamborghini, ISO, and Bizzarini. Grand Touring's extensive experience ranges from pre-war to modern exotics, advising on all aspects of the classic car ownership experience, from service, restoration, and climate-controlled storage to sales and consignment. Grand Touring's focus is not just on preserving the history and prestige of these vehicles, but making sure that the driving experience is equally as spectacular and authentic. For more information, send email to tom@grandtouring.com. Grand Touring, legends in motion.
Looking to level up your motorsport game? At Courage Motorsport, we've got everything you need, from high-performance parts and racing equipment to expert driving instruction and even our own Courage racing gear. Whether you're a beginner, a pro, or looking to kickstart your motorsport career with training in both the business of racing and securing sponsorships, we've got you covered. Check out our gear, grab a shirt, and represent your passion. Email us at trackready@couragemotorsport.com or visit couragemotorsport.com and get ready to hit the track.
The Spring Hill Suites Winchester is an all-suite property that features spacious suites, an indoor heated pool, complimentary hot buffet-style breakfast, a 24-hour fitness center, and complimentary Wi-Fi. Whether you're traveling in a group or flying solo, you'll find it easy to get comfortable in our spacious suites. We're conveniently located just off of Interstate 81 at exit 317 in a shopping center with many shops and dining options. Discount rooms are available. To book your suite today, call 540-431-3330.
Need a ride?
No. Okay. Taking you back to simpler times.
Hey, dog. Belmont Classic Cars, Belmont, Ohio.
Need it welded? Need it now? When things break at the track or out in the field, you don't have time to wait. You need precision. You need reliability. You need Rockman Metalworks. From high-performance race components to critical field repairs, Rockman delivers elite-level welding and fabrication with a research-driven approach that goes far beyond your average welder. This is precision work built to perform when it matters most. And here's the best part. They come to you. With full mobile service, Rockman Metalworks gets you back up and running fast so you can get back in the race. Conveniently located just 30 minutes from Summit Point, call them now at 209-751-9750. Rockman Metalworks. When it has to be right, right now.
Since 1976, Radial Tire Company has been providing the Washington, D.C. area with quality tires, expert knowledge, and the finest service. They have earned a reputation as a premier specialist in hard-to-find performance tire and wheel applications and stock tires from all the top manufacturers for whatever you drive. From performance and race cars to SUVs and trucks to your daily drivers, Radial's mission is to assist you in getting the most out of your tires and car. To get a competitive quote on your next set of tires, now with free shipping, or to schedule online, visit RadialTireCompany.com or call them in Silver Spring at area code 301-585-2740. That's 301-585-2740.
Willing and Able Racing offers top-quality spec race car rentals with full setup and repair services, including trackside support for SCCA, NASA, VRG, and other organizations' road race, time trials, and track day events. Their Spec Racer Ford specialists and each of their Gen 3 machines sports a SATAV sequential transmission and a data acquisition system. Also offering Spec Miata rentals, Willing and Able is currently taking reservations for the remainder of the Mid-Atlantic Road Racing Series season. For more information, email Willing and Able at rent@WNARacing.com, see them on Instagram at WNA Racing, or visit their website at WNARacing.com. Willing and Able would like to thank all the volunteers this weekend who've graciously donated their time so that we may race.
RP Performance is the only premier race shop in the region that specializes in both street and track Mazdas and is located right in the heart of racing at Summit Point's Gasoline Alley. RP has been involved in countless race wins and series championships across many classes with drivers of all ages. Not just a full-service shop, RP has been helping drivers with their individual racing and other track event needs for over 30 years, providing trackside support, arrive and drive packages, as well as race car transport services. And they're known for its help all attitude. RP Performance is your go-to for getting cars back on track for that positive experience at Summit Point when you're ready to pack it in. For more information about RP Performance, come talk to them here in the paddock. Call them at 304-728-6749 or email them at Brett, that's B-R-E-T, at rpperformanceracing.com.